Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cachefly. Cachefly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Sunday, December 2nd, 2012. This is episode 932. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Ring Central. I love my cloud-based phone system from Ring Central. Zero startup cost, and Ring Central is $20 per month per user. Try it now with a 30-day risk-free trial, and when you buy one desk phone, you'll get a second phone free, up to 20 phones. Call 800-543-9980 or visit ringcentral.com and use our promo code TWiT. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers and the internet and cell phones and camcorders and MP3 players and home theater and all that jazz. Digital photography, too. You want to join the conversation? The number's 8888. Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. Outside the U.S., well, you just have to use Skype to give me a ring. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Skype out. We'll do the job for you. You can call from toll free from anywhere in the world if you use something like VoIP, like Skype out. 888-827-5536. Website is techguylabs.com. techguylabs.com. Well, let's see. What's the big story of the day today? I mean, we're getting close to the holidays, and I think that the tech industry has announced everything that they they want to announce. I guess the big story probably for most of us is something that maybe you didn't even notice yet. If you use an iPhone or an Android phone and you use the Facebook app on that, and something like, what was the number I saw? 115 million people a month do use that Facebook app on a mobile device. You'll get a notice if you haven't already from Facebook. Go ahead and try it now. You would pull out your phone and launch Facebook. And you get a notice that says, hey, how'd you like us to help you out a little bit here? New, it says, photo sharing made easier. Sync your mobile phone book, mobile photos, I should say. Sync your mobile photos to Facebook. And then there's a big green button that says Get Started. And there's a cancel button, which you could always press the cancel button, I guess, if you wanted to know more before you said yes. Well, here's what's going to happen. If you say Get Started, they go through, and I think this is good, they go through a little explanation. It's called Photo Sync, and it says each new photo you take on your phone or your tablet will be available to share when you log into a computer. In other words, will automatically be uploaded to Facebook. Every photo you take gets uploaded automatically. Every photo. Now, this isn't new. I mean, Apple's been doing this with PhotoStream on iPhones for a while. You have to opt in, of course. And Google+, the Google social application on Android and iPhone, does that too. So now, if you're like me and you say yes to everything, I have every picture I take. If it's a blurry picture of my toe by accident because I was pointing it down, or if it's, who knows what it could be, picture of the sunset, whatever, it's going to get uploaded. Now, Facebook says it's private. It doesn't, unless you then go into your Facebook account and share it, nobody's going to see it. But it is being uploaded, and I just think it's probably something that people might want to think twice about because, and here's why. Now, there hasn't been a problem with iOS, and there hasn't been a problem with, there's a little problem with iOS because your photo stream is common to all your Apple devices. So, every picture you take on your phone is visible on every Apple device, including if you have Apple TV turned on with screen sharing from your pictures. You might be surprised by the pictures you'll see on the big screen TV. I'll leave it to your imagination. It just depends, I guess, what you're taking pictures of. the issue with Facebook is in the past, photos that have been private on Facebook have been accidentally, maybe not accidentally, made public. And other things have been made public accidentally on Facebook, your news feed and your statuses and so forth. Just, errors in program. Facebook is so complicated. Turns out even Mark Zuckerberg, the guy who created Facebook, is not immune. About a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, Facebook changed how it did content and privacy and changed things to public without people's knowledge. And even Mark Zuckerberg's pictures got published publicly. And we know he didn't want that because he quickly took them. And that within an hour, they were all private again. I just want to warn you that if you're uploading all your photos, I am, by the way, it's so convenient. If you're uploading all your photos to Facebook, just make sure you understand that at some point, without your knowledge, it's possible. I'm sure Facebook doesn't want to, but it's possible that stuff could suddenly be public. Now, I think it's kind of a cool thing, and that's why I turn it on. I don't care. I turn everything. I turned it on because now I just take lots of pictures, and it's very easy to share them on Facebook, which is one of the places I like to share photos. In fact, it makes it to the point where you kind of want to use your camera phone more than you want to use your special camera. But everybody should be a little bit aware of this risk. Now, I wonder when Facebook's going to turn on face recognition. It does that now. When you upload a picture, it has face tagging, and it can analyze pictures and say, hey, this must be your friend Joey, right? How long before that starts happening to the pictures you automatically upload? Wow, that might be interesting. And think of, Facebook has 1 billion users. What did I say? 115 million a month. Automatically, when you turn it on, the last 20 pictures you've taken get uploaded. So assuming that, let's say, half, and I'm sure it'll be more, but let's say half of those, let's say 50 million people turn this on. That's 1 billion photos uploaded like that, like today. Oh, boy. It's mind-boggling. From a purely technical point of view, it's mind-boggling what Facebook is doing. Just amazing. In terms of just the amount of data that they have now invited everybody just put there automatically. And it does make me a little more nervous about Facebook because remember, the way Facebook makes its money, it's very straightforward. The way Facebook makes its money is by sharing your personal information with advertisers and who knows who else. We're already seeing more and more pressure on companies like Facebook to share that information with government. I'm just waiting. Last week, Senator Leahy proposed some amendments in the Senate to the I think it was to the Electronic Privacy Act. I'm not sure exactly to which act it was, that would allow law enforcement without warrant to subpoena data from your internet service provider, from Facebook, from anybody, from Google. But here was the interesting thing. It included a lot of government agencies besides the FBI and the CIA and the NSA. It also included the SEC, OSHA, the FTC. It pretty much now, he retracted it immediately. As soon as people found out about this, he suddenly said, oh, no. I never meant to publish that. We're not going to make that a law. This was an amendment to the ECPA, the Electronic Communications Privacy Act. And fortunately, these amendments, whether he got the message or he inadvertently released them and they weren't really intended, I don't know, because his amendments now are kind of more on our side. The Senate Judiciary Committee approved unanimously this week an online privacy protection amendment that does the opposite. But we got to watch this carefully. The amendment will make it illegal for law enforcement to look at your email without obtaining, and this is what you want, a probable cause search warrant from a judge. But, these things get tacked onto bills And I'm just nervous in general because we've heard of all sorts of sneaky little moves. Law enforcement wants to be able to search into your Gmail. They think there's good stuff in there. They want to go on fishing expeditions. So I just warn you, if you start uploading stuff automatically to Facebook, who knows who might see it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, let's face it, we're all trying to save money these days. We're all trying to find the best value for the buck. And when I think about value, man, the first thing that comes to mind, DSL Extreme, the best value in high-speed internet. Amazing. $14.95 a month.
Jay and Jacqueline.
You're going to save hundreds of dollars a year.
You've
With
got
DSL
a flight
Extreme,
to catch.
Everything's just as fast.
When's
There's no
your
dialing in.
Welcome.
There's no waiting on downloads. You can surf the net, store your photos, download
you got
music
lots
and
of
video,
time.
get driving directions and everything. I love DSL Extreme. That's who I use. And at $14.95 a month, that's who you ought to be using. And by the way, they don't upsell you. There's no setup fees. Their modem's free. The spam protection's free 24/7 support. You even get email powered by Google with virtually unlimited storage and free online document, spreadsheet, and presentation software. For a limited time, high-speed internet, $14.95 a month from my internet service provider, DSL Extreme. Call 866-2-GET-NET, 866-2-GET-NET, or visit them online at DSL Extreme.
Oh, no, you have to enjoy them all.
High-speed internet for $14.95 a month. Call 866-2-GET to get DSL Extreme. Some restrictions apply.
Well, I'm really glad to have
Folks,
you.
have you heard about ESET's
by.
cybersecurity for the Mac yet? That world-famous lightweight computer protection I've been talking about for years,
but
is now
we have
available on the
time,
Mac platform
in the next 45
using
minutes,
the same sophisticated heuristics engine with a very nice Mac-friendly interface. He says it's now available in Apple stores nationwide, not to mention Micro Center and Fry's.
Jacqueline's saying,
heuristics, that means it proactively detects the bad guys before they get to you.
Good.
And nowadays, you really need that.
Yeah, because
he said understands education is the most important.
You're going to miss the big show.
Software. And he said cybersecurity for the Mac introduces a unique complementary
studio's always open
component alongside its renowned protection.
Unless we have to close it for legal reasons. We had somebody got injured in here
Don't take my word for it. Try it free for 30 days. Go to eset.com/Mac.
Brief about it. So.
And don't forget to like ESET.
I don't intend it to, but our insurance company's not happy. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure out some way to.
Special offers.
It's a little. You see all these wires and everything. If you've ever been in the studio, it's not. Jacqueline, you could sit over here if you want. You don't have to. You don't have to hide behind them. That's a lousy view, unless you don't care. You might prefer to look at the back of the monitor. I wouldn't blame you. So, what business are you in? Good. Oh, neat. Oh, great. You do it together? No. Oh, cool. But you do work together. Oh, that's neat. That's great. Good. Right. Well, we didn't really do all this stuff until, this company started in 2005, and it was at first just me, a couple of shows, and then we've just kind of expanded. Now it's like 25, 30 shows. And Windows Weekly is great. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. I think we got a lot of people through. That's one of the reasons we look for hosts that have their own following, because we want to pull in their fans too. So, they caught McAfee, huh? Well, let's see. Duckfeet's saying that in the chat room. That's a while. I don't even want to report on that story, except that it's fascinating, but it really doesn't have anything to do with tech. It's just tech money, yeah. And let's see. The last I saw, he said he vows he will not turn himself in. No, Fox says despite Blog's claim of capture, John McAfee is still on the lam. It's complicated because I have heard from some that Belize police are kind of notorious for blackmailing rich expats, asking for donations, and if you don't participate, so who knows what's really going on there? It's much more it may be more complicated.
You were just tickled pink when they introduced the news feed. But the privacy settings...
Love that Facebook stuff. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So
one of the things we're talking about privacy. We're talking about the Electronic Communications Privacy Act. This came out in 1986. It definitely needs to be amended. Things have changed a little bit since 1986. Right now, the ECPA allows law enforcement to access any file or communication stored by a person on a third-party servers. That would be, for instance, your Gmail or your Facebook pictures, for more than 180 days, not with a warrant, but with a subpoena, an administrative subpoena, which means no oversight. Law enforcement can essentially compel, by law, that Google turn over your Gmail, as General Petraeus learned. They just subpoena it, and Google has to say, okay. Facebook could turn over your chat logs or all your photos. Dropbox could turn over your stored files. They don't even need evidence, but there's no proof required that there's anything illegal has been done. The police just have to say it has reason to believe the information's useful in its investigation. That's it. So that's the current state of the law. Now, the reason that this is the case is that back in 1986, what was the state of electronic mail in 1986? It was pre-widespread use of the internet. We were all on CompuServe and MCI. It was believed at the time that anything on a server for more than 180 days was just abandoned. And so there was no expectation of privacy. If you left it on a server for more than 6 months, well, you obviously didn't care if anybody read it. But what was Gmail? When Google did Gmail some years ago, what was their big, come on, hey, never delete your email. Keep it forever. You've got plenty of storage. Do you consider emails that you sent more than 6 months ago public? I think not. Pictures you posted on Facebook more than 6 months ago public? No. So the good news is this Leahy Amendment, which has not been passed, it's merely proposed, will require a probable cause search warrant before that data can be accessed. In other words, you'll have to tell a court, a judge, there's evidence of wrongdoing. We believe that this information will be material. Let's hope it passes. However, even if it does, you should know law enforcement can still, with one of these administrative subpoenas, get your name, address, credit card, or bank information, the date and time an email is sent, the recipient of an email, what devices you used when you were doing electronic communications, and more. It allows them to go to phone companies and ask for that information. Hey, where was Leo? They don't have to ask you, where were you on the night of September 23rd? They just ask your phone company. The phone company knows because you have a GPS in your phone. They can find out what phone calls you made. They cannot look at the contents, but they can do all of that. And, of course, for counterterrorism purposes, the Patriot Act means they can do all that without really much oversight through a FISA court. So you should I think we should all just pay attention to this. And remember, and this goes back to what I was talking about with Facebook. Basically, if you put it online, assume that it could be made public at any time by accident, and that the government and law enforcement, and by the government, I even mean OSHA and the SEC and the FTC can access it without any probable cause. Just good to keep in mind. Something you might want to remember. 8888 Ask Leo. We could talk about that. We could talk about which cell phone to get. Our digital camera guy, Chris Marquardt's coming up in an hour to bust another myth about digital photography. Meanwhile, let's get to the phone, starting with Michelle in Los Angeles, listening to the great KFI. Hi, Michelle.
Oh, hi, Leo. Thank you so much again for taking my call.
My pleasure.
Okay, here's the question. I have a friend. I'm calling for him. He has an iPod, and he used to sync his notes to his Mac via USB. Now, he just upgraded to Mountain Lion, and Apple, in their infinite wisdom, has removed the syncing by USB through iTunes. You have to go through iCloud. And he does not want to do that. He wants to find...
Yeah, you see, this is, by the way, the implication of what I just talked about. If you have something on iCloud, you're kind of giving it away. So I understand that. Some good friends of mine who are not particularly paranoid have all created their own clouds because they don't want to put it in a public cloud like iCloud. So I understand that. So I didn't know this. So iTunes will no longer, when you hook, because you know what they did is they created a Notes app.
Correct.
And the idea of the Notes app, which is now on the desktop, is that automatically, without you doing anything, it will sync up the notes on your iPhone, your iPad, and your desktop will all be in sync, which is very handy. But you're right, that goes through Apple's servers. Whether it's stored on iCloud or not, it goes on Apple's servers. I'm pretty sure USB, they didn't take out USB syncing, however. Let me look and just see on my iTunes here.
Well, they allow you to sync your contacts and your calendar through.
But Notes is no longer in there, huh? You know
Correct.
what you should do is look in the apps section. It's taken a while for iTunes to load. You haven't. You don't see Notes in the apps section.
Oh, there's tons of them, but they all sync through the cloud or through the internet or through whatever. The only solution I found, which isn't a solution, is just to transfer the files from the iPod to the desktop via file sharing. But it's not going to a Notes app. So I was hoping someone in your chat room might go, aha, I know a solution because I have spent hours going through the apps and researching on the internet. There's a lot of people.
What I'm saying is if you go to the apps section on your iPhone and look at the apps, you should see the Apple Notes application there. See, now what's different is this is now considered an application. Let me just make sure that's true. No, it's not true. So I apologize. You're right.
Okay.
So let me ask the chat room. How would I sync notes? There used to be a tab. You know, you could sync music, movies, pictures, and then there was a tab for contacts, address book. It was called Info, and in there was Notes. But now it's not there anymore. It's just, as you say, it's address book, calendar, mail. Now, there, as you know, you said there are other apps like Evernote, but that's all going to sync to their cloud.
And there's dozens and dozens of those. So it's obviously a very popular thing to do, is to, have notes.
Well. Yeah, you've brought up a very interesting point that I hadn't really considered. It sounds like Apple is forcing you to store your notes on its iCloud, or at least pass it through Apple's servers.
Yes, they are forcing.
I think you probably instead are going to want to. Well, boy, this is an interesting. You're going to want. In other words, you want to find. I'm on Mountain Lion. I don't see it, so I'm gonna check. We're going to find some way that he can store notes on his iPhone, get them over to his desktop without putting them on someone's cloud. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That is interesting. I didn't realize they'd taken that feature out. See, I trust nobody. I mean, I trust everybody. I'm one of those people that lets Under the info section, scroll to the bottom under advanced. Replace information during the next sync. No, I don't believe you're correct on that. This is what info will sync. Contacts, calendars, mail accounts, other. And now I have notes. This is Mountain Lion. I have notes on my Mountain Lion, but in file sharing, I in fact don't see notes here. So I guess what I'm going to recommend is a notes solution that doesn't use the cloud like Paranote, which I really like. Let's see what Oz Sound Nirvana has a link. Support.apple.com. Syncing notes. Yeah, well, he doesn't want to use iCloud. So remember, they used to do it through mail, which was, again, storing it in the cloud. Yeah, this confirms, I think, what she's saying.
it was an iPod. That's right, not an iPhone. So that makes it even more complicated, huh? This is Mountain Lion. She had moved to Mountain Lion. Well, Dave now asks the, I guess, appropriate question. Well, why would Apple care or have any interest in looking through your stuff? And that's kind of always been my attitude. Why would Facebook care? But remember, if it's stored on any server, the government can then just say, hey, let's see that. So, I mean, I store all my notes on iCloud. I don't care. But I certainly understand why people care. Tor does not hide anything. It just anonymizes it. And not very well, as we found out. If you turn off iCloud syncing on the iPod, then it will let you sync via PC. Does the iPod even have an iCloud sync setting? Really? I'm just going to recommend some notes. Oh, she probably had the iPod Touch, right? There's no way you can't take notes on an iPod. Okay, so Toronto Mario, what version of OS 10 are you using? He says his shows notes under info, then other for sync setting that advanced has notes. Are you using Lion or Mountain Lion? Well, Snow Leopard, okay. Nobody's asking about Snow Leopard. Have fun. This whole point is that this has changed. The behavior's changed under Lion and later. Thanks for helping, Toronto Mario. Fighting the cloud is a losing battle. That's the way things are going, says Marmot. If you refuse to lose the cloud, then don't use mobile devices. Well, you got a good point because everything's... Get off of my cloud.
All right, Leo, DSO Extreme billboard here.
Evernote is not the real answer under Uncle Bick. Why would you... If you don't want to store it in the cloud, Evernote's exactly the wrong answer. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Boy, a great question for Michelle. And it really is timely. It underscores this whole problem. She's using, or her friend is using, was it Lion or Mountain Lion, wants to sync notes. In the old days with an iPod Touch or an iPhone, you could take notes on the device, and then you'd hook it up to iTunes, and then iTunes would synchronize it to your desktop, and it never, as far as we know, and by the way, you have to trust Apple in this respect, but as far as we know, it was never uploaded to any Apple servers, and I don't think it was. Truth is, if a company did that, people would find out and raise holy heck. So you could be pretty sure that, well, it just stayed local. She's concerned, her friend is concerned that it's if he does what Apple wants him to do, it will go to Apple's servers and then come back. And by the way, Apple knows this is a concern for some people. When you turn on voice dictation, for instance, on an iOS device, it warns you, it says, by the way, you should know that in order for us to turn your voice into text, we have to send it to our servers and translate it, and it may be stored there on our servers. And I have a number of friends, paranoid friends, who say we're not going to use Siri or dictation because everything you say goes to Apple servers. And some companies prohibit it for the same reason because... Now, one of our chatters said, but I trust Apple. What would their interest be in data mining our stuff? And you're right, I doubt Apple's data mining our stuff. However, we don't know for sure. And what we do know is that the federal government and local and state law enforcement have the right to look at that stuff. So if privacy is a concern, or if you have a legal responsibility, this is the irony of it, of course, there are many federal regulations in many industries that require you to keep this stuff private.
And so you're kind of caught. Now, there are note-taking applications that don't use the cloud, that do use iTunes to synchronize data. I use one called PairNote. It's a nice little note-taking application for iOS that you take the notes. The notes don't ever go into the cloud. It has no cloud capability whatsoever. But if you want to get them to the desktop, you hook it up to iTunes and it synchronizes. There are many, I think, note-taking programs that don't use iCloud, and that's what you're looking for. Although I wonder if they're going to become fewer and fewer because of the convenience. And see, this is the problem, is we're all wooed by the convenience of such a thing. Oh, I don't have to even think about it. I take notes on one thing and it appears on another automatically. There's a program called NoteShelf. I really like NoteShelf. To my knowledge, NoteShelf does not use iCloud. It just syncs via iTunes. I highly recommend that. That's a beautiful program. Frankly, better. Most of these programs are better in some way than Apple's own Notes program, which is fairly simple. Take a look at NoteShelf or PairNote. P-E-A-R, PairNote, Michelle. And either of those will be safe. Both of them are paid. But remember, we're always trusting that nobody's uploading this stuff. If you're using a mobile device with an always-on internet connection, who knows? Who knows? And, of course, the police have devices they can plug in. Let's say you get pulled over in a routine traffic stop and the law enforcement decides that they have probable cause to check your iPhone. They can, in 30 seconds, take all the data out of it. Now, they can't do that if you've locked it. But what, of course, they'll do is say, hey, would you mind unlocking this so I can check it? I think you have the right. Although who knows nowadays to say no. What was it? Scott McNeely, when he was the CEO of Sun Microsystems, and this was, I think, 10 years ago, said, privacy is dead. Get over it. I hate to think this. But he might be right. Certainly, if you want to protect your privacy, especially if it's from the government, you're going to have to go to extra steps. And some people said, probably carrying a cell phone is the first thing you should get rid of, stop doing. Jeremy in Anaheim, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, Leo. I really enjoy your show.
Thank you.
And question. I've signed my family up for a family plan through Sprint about a year ago. 4 lines, unlimited everything. And we all got free 3G Android phones, which are pretty decent, but we're about ready for the upgrade next month. And I foresee problems if we get 4G phones with them keeping our unlimited data contract. I think they might try and change it up on us.
Yeah, all the cell phone companies do this. They'll use any excuse to extend your contract or change your plan, sometimes without warning.
Yeah, well, they tried it before in the past. They sent a letter out. We called asking what the deal was. They say that they were going to discontinue the unlimited everything plan. Right. And then I guess due to popular demand, they decided to keep it on. It's
more than popular demand. It's because Sprint isn't also ran after AT&T and Verizon. They need something to keep people using them. And what they've really decided is, hey, unlimited data is it. This is what people want. You see it in all the ads now. This is their competitive edge.
Yeah, so my hopes is to keep the contract just the way it is now by coming to them and saying we want to upgrade to just 3G phones. We don't. I
wouldn't even do that. I would call the rep and say, look, I have unlimited. I want to keep unlimited, but I want to upgrade.
You think they'll let us use 4G on an unlimited service plan?
I wouldn't. But it depends how desperate they are to keep you. You're a big customer. You're spending a lot of money on that family plan.
Yeah, so the 4S, the iPhone 4S is a really good 3G phone, but we want to stay Android just because we have nothing Apple in the home. It would be the first Apple device.
It's hard to get. It's harder and harder to get non-4G phones. Now, Sprint does not yet have a lot of 4G. Does it have it in Anaheim? I don't know. It probably does.
Yeah, they do. They do offer.
Well, there's two. Now, remember, Sprint has 2 4Gs. There's LTE, which is very limited, and there's this very bad, what they called Clearwire. It's a WiMAX, terrible 4G. And I don't know what they're doing in terms of unlimited pricing for 4G on Clearwire. It's LTE they don't want you to have unlimited because it's so fast.
Yeah, so I think they're going to give me a problem if we try and get an LTE phone with keeping this contract.
They might, but I would ask them. because they have a lot of leeway.
Okay. And one more quick question. I got a 3-year-old daughter I want to get a tablet for. What do you think, Kindle Fire or the Nexus 7? Both around the same price range right now, so...
What do you think your 3... Well, there's far more apps on the Nexus 7 because it's the full app store, right? The Kindle Fire, Amazon only allows you the Amazon store, although there are quite a few kid apps on there. On the other hand, the Amazon interface is very stripped down and simple, and a 3-year-old might be easier for a 3-year-old to use. My choice would be give her the Nexus 7.
The Nexus 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're the same price. They're both $200. The Amazon device is really designed to sell Amazon stuff. They even said it. They said, we don't have to make money on the device. We make money when you use the device. So it's a portal to Amazon sales. The Nexus 7 is a beautiful, full Android device. Now, if you were asking me for you, I'd say for sure, because you can put the Kindle on there and stuff. For a little kid, I'm not sure. I have to look at what kind of simple controls they have. You know, you can always get the Amazon apps on the Nexus. It's the other way around. You can't get the Play Store apps on the Amazon.
Gotcha. She's always playing on our phone, so we decided...
So she's comfortable. She's figured it out. She plays her games and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, little keyboard apps, makes music, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that's so great. I would get her the Nexus 7.
Okay, great. And I'll go ahead and call Sprint and try and haggle
See if you can haggle something. Otherwise, I'm trying to think what Android phones are 3G only. Probably the Galaxy S2. I think the way Sprint sells it is with the WiMAX. They don't have an LTE version of it. So I think that's probably safe.
Gotcha.
But you should ask them. Because they have a lot more leeway. They may say no, but they may also say, well, we want to keep you as a customer. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh yeah, turn off. If you get her a Kindle, turn off one-click purchasing. That's good advice. Oh, Ting might be a good solution. I should have mentioned that. Darn it, I will mention Ting. You guys gonna take off? Why don't you come over and get a picture before you leave? You wanna?
That'd be really nice.
All right. Hey, John, could you do the honors? Ozzy, you want to be in a picture? Stay.
I just have to say, you guys do, again, some amazing work.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Can't say enough good things about it.
Have a seat. Guess what?
Security Now is awesome.
I won't make you wear a funny hat. Unless you want to.
I'm good.
Okay, that's what I thought. I got that feel. I got that look. I ain't wearing a funny hat look.
3, 2.
It's an Evo?
Nah, Lumia.
Lumia. Oh, how do you like it?
I love it.
It's the 900?
Yeah. I had the, I had the...
That's right, you're a Windows Weekly listener.
Yeah.
Of course, you're a Microsoft
Thank
guy.
you.
Of course it's a Lumia.
No, I had 3 iPhones, and they pulled me off of it. As soon as the 900 came out.
900's nice. The 920s were really nice. It's big. It's heavy.
I love it.
I'm giving... we have a little friend. She's a 4th grader who lost her iPhone, so I'm giving her the... that's not it. The Focus S.
You have a TC4400 there, huh? Is that just because it's spare, or do you like it, or?
This?
That's one of the original tablet.
You know why?
Microsoft tablets.
I know. Well, you recognize it. That's awesome. It's a compact.
Yeah.
So I bought it back in the days when I wanted to figure out if touch was ever going anywhere, and it has a stylus. It's really great. But so I only use it for one thing, and that's to run the vintage 2002 call screening software for the Premiere uses. So I'm running XP, and a program from 2002 works great. I don't use the touch. Huh?
I need to figure out what the trick is. When you weren't here, it took us like 3 times to get that thing to work.
Really?
Yeah, it wouldn't connect, or the VPN wouldn't connect.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I'll show you next time. You know what we have to do, and I still haven't done it, is image this thing. Because if it dies, I have no idea how to get it back. I'll have to call Jay. I'll say, Jay, help me. My 4200's broken. I don't know what to do. Well, seriously, this is running everything on this, including the VPN software, the old Cisco. It's all like ancient history. This is a Cisco Systems VPN client from 2006. I would love Italian wedding soups. Thank you, sir. A biggie, a biggin. Safe travels. Oh, we have my ex-wife has a little mentee who's in 4th grade, and she lost her iPhone, so I'm going to give her the Focus S. I think Windows Phone is actually probably a better choice for a 4th grader. You know, and it's nice and light, and it's pretty durable. And 8-megapixel camera.
They all need a case, right?
Yeah. This one, though, you know, more than the iPhone is she didn't break her iPhone. She lost it, or somebody took it, I think. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. My son has smashed both the front and the back of his iPhone. But the kids, it's funny. Teenagers like the shattered glass look. That's part of the thing. Anyway, nice to meet you both. All right. Take care, Jay. Anytime. Safe travels. Bye-bye. Jacqueline's going, oh, my God. Thank God we're out of there. Nerd Zone. I have no idea what I'm hearing, but I like it. Tip of the hat to our musical director, Kyle Benham. Actually, I should say a tip of the fez to Kyle Benham. If you want to find out what that was, or any of the songs he plays, all you have to do is go to his Google Plus account, and he posts a playlist there from Spotify. And you can get some Shaba music just for you. 8888 Ask Leo. Garrett, Sarasota, Florida. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Garrett.
Hey, Leo. How are you?
Well, I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks. Long-time listener. Back to the screensaver days.
Thank you, sir.
Question for you. A couple friends of mine at work started a podcast, and to start it out, we got together and ran Audio Hijack, recorded it on one of my buddy's computers, and it was good for what it was.
And he saw it, and it was good.
For the first time, it was good.
Yes.
So after listening to it and some friends, some feedback, decided, the best thing to do is to record locally to get better quality, and then try to sync them up after the fact and post, if you will.
Yeah, that's called double-ended recording. You have two recordings, one at each end. So both of them are local, and both should sound perfect. And then the trick is to we don't do that, by the way. Here, I do more than 24 podcasts, most of them via Skype, and we tried that, and it was just such a pain that we stopped doing it. So what's going on?
Well, it's by the time we get done recording till my buddy our audio guy finishes up, it's well over an hour of trying to sync up, figure out where we are. At the beginning, we try to do a countdown together.
Right.
We all start recording at a different time. We're out of sync because of the latency and all this other stuff. So
it's more work than it's worth. It does produce a great result, and there are some podcasts done that way. There's one by my friend Merlin Mann and Lonely Sandwich and Scott Simpson called You Look Nice Today. That's how they did that one. It always sounded like they're all in the same room, but Sandwich had to do a lot of work to edit it. And the problem with it is that you might be – for our podcast, it was just no good because we want to be timely. We want to get them out within a few hours. There was so much work involved that it might take a week for them to finish You Look Nice Today. So it is possible. What we always would do is at the beginning, not just a countdown, but a clap. And this is what even the pros do this. You've probably seen the clackers they used to use in movies. Actually, I think they still do. That sound is a very easy thing to see on the waveform, and you can just match those three claps up. You might want to, if you're recording for more than, say, half an hour, it's going to slowly drift out of sync, so you might want to do it again and start over. But you can absolutely get a pretty good sync just by doing that.
Now you would, because we're just recording our own audio on our end.
Right.
And we're listening to everybody else through the headphones.
Right.
So would you play it through your local speaker so you hear one person does the clack?
No, all three of you do it. That's the key, because you're all three in different different kind of times. So that's probably part of the problem. So all three of you do it. Okay. And then it's not going to be easy, and you do have to kind of fiddle with it and so forth. It does give you the best result, and if you're not trying to get a podcast out in just a few hours, it might be worth the effort. Certainly, it's good. What we've done is really improve the quality as best we can of Skype, which means give everybody good microphones, make sure everybody has lots of bandwidth. Skype works best when you have a lot of upstream, by the way, is the most important bandwidth. And then the real key that we found was to give each person, now this is not going to be practicable for you probably, but to give each person their own individual computer. I mean, here. So I'm recording, let's say I have, and I will this afternoon, we do our big show TWiT, and I'll have 2 or 3 people on Skype with me in the studio. Each of those Skype calls is made by a separate computer. We built a computer that has 4 Skypes, 4 instances, 4 computers. It's called Skypeosaurus. My former chief engineer invented this, Colleen Kelly. She did such a good job. Google stole her away from me. She's now a bigwig at Google. But she built Skypeosaurus. It was 4 different PCs, each running Skype. You have to have audio out of each and audio into each. You need a mixer now. See, it's getting more complicated. So now I've purchased 4 PCs. I've got a mixer. I'm feeding into each of those PCs something called mix minus. That's tricky because they can't hear themselves back. So you take them, it's minus them, and you feed that to them. I'm getting way over my head here. This is but if you want to do Skype and do it effectively, that's how we do it. And there's a couple of other things that will help you improve your Skype. One thing is to figure out if everybody's got a good connection. And that is sometimes difficult to figure out. We found a really good little program, which I've been recommending on the air. And I should warn you, every time I recommend it, it brings the site down because it's not designed for lots of traffic. It's called Netalyzer. Netalyzr. If you just Google Netalyzr, you'll find it. It's at University of California at Berkeley. It's actually a research study. It requires Java. You get each person to run it, and it will tell you things about their connection. The problem is your internet service provider often says, oh, you've got 20 megabits down and 2 megabits up, and that should be plenty for Skype. But what they don't tell you is the latency, the jitter. And they don't know and can't tell you if you've got problems with your router, things like buffer bloat, which is a widespread problem with routers. It causes huge problems with Skype because the router manufacturers just decided to put lots more memory in and do their own buffer, and it breaks Skype's and the Internet's congestion control and actually causes more problems. So there's all sorts of little things that the Netalyzer will tell you, will flag these issues. And so it may be that some of your hosts need to get a new router. Some of them need to get a better connection. Getting a good headset mic. We use Plantronics, the dot USB audio 655. They're not expensive, $30 or $40. Or sometimes we even get professional mics with USB interfaces. Or you can go in something in the middle like the Blue Yeti, YETI from BLU microphones. Those are really good. They're USB mics. All of this can improve the sound quality, so much so that you don't need to do a double ender. And that's the point, is let's make this easier by not having to do 4 separate recordings. Good luck, Garrett, with the podcast. It's tricky. It's tricky, but you can do it. Try the clap solution first. Get each of you clap. Then you have the 4 waveforms on your editor, and you just match that little spike where the clap was up, and that should usually do a good enough job. Jane in Santa Ana, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leon.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
Good. I have a question for you. I have a HP Presario laptop, and that's our only computer, and I have had it since 2004.
Time for a new laptop.
I know. But it's just my husband and myself. We don't do gaming. We do Quicken, and I was wondering what brand would be the best. And I'm not sure about screen size. I don't care if it weighs a lot because it will not be moved very often. And I don't know how much RAM or memory or...
Well, Quicken's not really demanding. I'll give you a couple of brands I like. Dell, Lenovo, and Asus, A-S-U-S. All 3 are very good, better than HP. But frankly, you could probably just get the cheapest laptop on the market. Yeah, what is up with my... It's not $10,000. It's $5,000. Well, mostly because...
I love the holidays.
He's talking about my stained glass laptop. The stained glass. I slowed it down. By the way, just a little program note. Get ready, because I'm going to be working out in between shows today at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, which would be 2200 UTC. Jessica Corbin is going to be here. Remember Jessie from the Screensavers? She's got a new app for the iPhone. She talked a little bit about on triangulation a few months ago. It's out. And she's going to try it out on me. So I'm going to be working out between 2 and 3. I got my workout clothes on. And Jessica's going to talk about her new app, which I'm trying to find the name of. She's just, old friend. She promised to wear spandex. Let me see if I can find her website. We gotta get her to update her website. She hasn't blogged since 2007. Jessica. I went to her website, and her latest updates. Get my latest updates. 2007. And before that, the previous post, 2005. I don't think she's a big blogger, okay? I don't... let's see if I can find... maybe it'll be on our Wikipedia entry. Golly. She's got... What's the name of it? Do you remember, guys? It was like Fitness VX, something like that. It was an iPhone app. Oh, I forgot to bring my iPhone. I hope she brings an iPhone. Yeah, Vitness, VITNESS RX. That's it. I'll look it up here. The idea is it measures not your heart rate, but your heart rate volatility. So you have a little band that you put on and a little thing you put on your phone. And then it tells you what to... when's a good time to work out, what kind of workout. It's very interesting. I gotta find the... she explained it. I know it sounds like voodoo. It's not, actually. Heart rate variability it measures, which is a measure of the stress level in your cardiac and nervous system. So what this does, instead of just measuring your heart rate, it measures your variability. And then it can tell you, oh, today would be a good day to take it easy. I'm hoping it'll say that a lot. Or sometimes it will tell you, this would be a good day to work out like a dog. It does measure your heart rate. It measures your heart rate, and then it takes it over a longer term so it can look at the variability. Anyway, she'll explain this. So at 2 o'clock, she's going to work me out. She's also a personal trainer, so I presume she won't hurt me. I already worked out today. I don't know if I want to work out more. The Quicken boxes that do not resize well, if they have one and there's only 768, they'll be sorry. So in other words, they should stick with an old computer. Oh, that's cool. I know that software. You're right, Murray on Travel. What is that called? You're right. You're right.
This is Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the Tech Shop, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour from Premier Radio Network.
Is this it? Singular software from Red Giant? Skip endless hours of tedious manual synching. Oh, that's cool. Pluralize. Hey, thank you. Somebody in the chat room sent me this. Pluralize. Yeah, it seems like this is something a computer could actually do quite well. So you got pluralize, you got dualize, you got cloudize. Huh. You got presto. Huh. The levelator. Oh, that's interesting. So this must be the guy who did levelator did this. That's interesting. All right. Shaba. Duckfeet says he likes Shaba, Kyle. Shaba Shaba. Maybe I'll do this while I'm getting my heart rate variability measured. Okay. Superman. Does anyone know where I could find cute puppy pics? Yes, Superman. We do. 1368 by 768. Okay, yeah. Don't get a 1366 by 768. That would be unpleasant. I'm tempted. John keeps saying, buy a new iMac, buy a new iMac. I'm very tempted. I wouldn't get a cheap second monitor. You'll be unhappy because you'll have a good monitor and a bad monitor. The best monitor to get for that, of course, would be the Apple 27 at $1,000. She got the SIM card from 3. Of course, 3 is in England. Italy and Greece, you're going to have to get a SIM card for each country, unfortunately. It's a good question because I'm going to Italy and Greece next fall. Italy, Greece, and Turkey next fall, and I will be trying to figure out how to do that. I forgot to send in a picture of Ozzy before I left for the cruise, and it expired, so I got to do that again. I got to buy another one. Leap Motion. No, I don't think it's too. It didn't. Who did somebody buy them? I think somebody just bought them. So I don't think it is too good to be true. I think Google or somebody just bought them. I've gone on cruises. This is my 12th cruise, Aaron. I've been going on cruises since 1987. And as I get older, the people on the cruise don't seem so old as they used to.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour from Premier Radio Network.
You're not going to ever see a 27-inch, well, not never, but you're not going to see a 27-inch Retina display for some time. It's too many pixels. I have been on the Alaska cruise. It was fun. But I like warm climes a little better. Because I like to wear my Speedo. Oh, it's football day. I forgot. I got to check. Hold on, man. Well, hey, how are you today? Good to see you. Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. It's time to talk computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, home theater, MP3 players, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo's the phone number. If you have a question, a comment, a suggestion, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. Coming up at 33 and a third after the hour. My good buddy, Chris Marquardt, our photo guy, will blow away another photo myth. He's very good at that. He's very good at that. That's coming up at 33 and a third after the hour, Chris Marquardt. But meanwhile, we continue with the phone calls. We had a call before, and I ran out of time, so I'll elaborate a little bit. Caller using an older, 7 years old. That's pretty old in computer terms. I think computers are about, dog years are what, 7 to 1? For every Earth year, a dog ages about 7 years. It's equivalent of a 7-year-old in the first year, 14-year-old human in the second year, and so forth. So 7 years is dog years. Computer years is more like 15. So a 2-year-old computer, that's 30 years old. 3-year-old computer, it's 45 years old, getting middle-aged. 4 years old, now we're talking a 60-year-old computer. It's not dead. I'm almost 60, but it's not it's not as vigorous as it used to be. 5-year-old computer, now you're 75. 6-year-old computer, I think this works out. I think 15 to 1 is about right. So hers was what, 7 years old? It's 105. I think it's time for a new computer. So she wanted to know. She wants a nice, solid, robust computer. I'm not a fan of HP computers, and I don't even know. HP's made noises about getting out of the computer business entirely. I don't think they make very good computers. I think that if you're looking for a laptop, there's a couple of names I really would look at. Dell is very good. Dell's, it feels a little generic, kind of nothing fancy, but solid. We buy all Dells here in the office because I don't want to give my employees anything to, brag about. Just want them to get the job done. I don't want them to say, hey, look at that hot new computer. I'm not giving them race cars. I'm giving them family sedans. That's the Dell. Dell is the family sedan. Now, if you want the 4x4, the rugged, tough business computer, Lenovo's fantastic. They bought the ThinkPad brand from IBM some years ago, and the ThinkPads are just really solid. They're built well. I do have to say, though, if you want something a little sporty, something good looking, you might take a look at the Asus, ASUS. Maybe not as well known in the U.S. They're making some great new laptops. In terms of RAM, you're going to get 4 gigs on almost anything, unless you buy if you go out and get the equivalent of, nowadays they have kind of effectively their netbooks. There's $300 or $400 computers, very cheap ones. They might have 2 gigs. I would look at 4 gigs of RAM. She's going to be using Quicken primarily, so you probably want a screen that has some decent resolution on it. One of our chatters said some of these low-end 1366 by 768 laptops are too low res, really, for Quicken. So, and I think that's probably true. You want 1440 by 900 if you can get that. Something like that kind of resolution. Just because you'll see more on the screen, the full-size window will look good. Do you need Windows 8? Probably you don't want Windows 8 just because you don't want to learn a new user interface. Windows 7 is great and fine. If you could still find a Windows 7 laptop, I'd go for that. And as far as hard drive space, well, they'll all have more than enough. Let's put it that way. 7 years ago, you probably got 4 gigs. Now you'll be getting more like 500. It's a significant increase. You'll be in good shape. Now, having said that, they're talking about Windows 8 sales, and according to Microsoft, they've sold 40 million copies of Windows 8 in the first month, and that is very respectable. That's the same number they sold of Windows 7 when it came out, and it was very, very hot when it came out. So Windows 8's doing okay. Now, Microsoft has a certain amount of built-in success because, when you go to the store, you'll see Windows 8 computers. Not as many as you ought to yet, though. And even Microsoft's a little perturbed by the fact that the computer manufacturers haven't leapt on the Windows 8 bandwagon. They're taking a little bit of a wait-and-see attitude. So if you go to Costco or Best Buy or a computer store today, you'll only see a few Windows 8 computers. And that's fine with me. I think if you're going out and buying a new computer right now, unless you want touch screen, you want Metro-style apps, and if you don't know what these are, you don't, I would go with Windows 7. I think you'd be happy with Windows 7. I really do. So those are my recommendations for your next laptop. Does that help you, Jane? I'm sorry I had to rush you off at the beginning of the hour because we had news.
That does help me. I've got one quick question, though. I was looking at this Samsung, and their prices are so high. Is that because it's solid state, and does that make your computer last longer?
It doesn't make it last longer, but it makes it much faster. So you will see a number of laptops, they call them Ultrabooks, that are very thin and light. Now, They are more expensive sometimes because they don't have spinning drives. They have solid-state drives. They're like the same kind of flash you use in your camera. There's no moving parts. That does make them somewhat more robust. But most importantly, it makes them faster. But the problem is those drives are more expensive. You get smaller capacity for a higher price. If you want speed, I like SSDs. I don't buy computers without solid-state drives anymore, frankly. Because I want that speed.
Does Dell have
sure.
solid state?
Everybody makes them.
You just have to ask for them.
You have to ask for them, or you can look in their Ultrabook lines. All the Ultrabooks do. Now, one thing you might care about, I don't know, for Ultrabook is they don't have, for the most part, optical drives. They don't have the DVD players or burners in there. That makes them a lot thinner.
I don't care about,
I don't either. So I love Ultrabooks because, Ultrabooks were inspired by Apple's MacBook Air, which was so thin and light, and people just jumped on that and love it. And I do. I like thin and light. But I don't know. It sounds like, do you carry these around, or is it just your desktop?
No, it would be my desktop.
Then you don't care about thin and light.
No.
So, and you do pay more for thin and light.
Right. Okay. What was I going to say? How big a screen would you recommend?
Well, there's a couple of choices here. Now you're talking about a laptop, so the laptop screens, you don't get much bigger than 17 inches. I wouldn't go crazy on screen size. If you want a big screen, you can always get an external screen, external keyboard, and external mouse. Why is it that you buy laptops, though? Because if you're not carrying it around, why don't you just buy a desktop? It would be cheaper.
Well, the reason is I just don't want that big screen.
It's ugly. It's ugly.
Yes.
You want to fold it up, put it in the drawer, and nobody knows you have a computer.
I just want to be able to fold it up so it's not, standing there.
I think on a laptop, you want a 15-inch screen at best, 14 or 15 inches. I think that's fine.
Okay, and you think I should go with Windows 7?
I would. You can always go to a store and play with Windows 8. Windows 8 laptops tend to have touch screens, and, it has this new interface, this kind of, it's hard to describe, this tiled interface that you slide around. And if you're used to Windows, you're using Windows XP right now. If you're used to Windows, Windows 7 will just be, start button, I understand, control panel, everything is the same. When you go to Windows 8, you got to learn a whole new way of doing things.
Right, and then I would update my Quicken to the 2012.
Oh, yeah, you should probably do that anyway. You could use the old Quicken probably, but I would update it.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much. I certainly appreciate all your help.
My pleasure. I love spending people's money appropriately on the right things. Thanks, Jane. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls at 8888 Ask Leo right after this. Yeah, I didn't mention a number pad, did I? Probably should have. So am I going to spend some money for you? How about if I save you some money right now? Are you in the process of getting a phone system for your business? May I recommend the phone system we use here at the Brick House? Ring Central. I love Ring Central. This is my Ring Central phone. You might say, well, that looks just like a regular, office phone. It's a Polycom 2-line. Yeah, but you know what's cool about this? It's not connected to a switch in the basement. It's not even connected to the phone company. It's connected to the #1 cloud-based business phone system, Ring Central, and I am so happy. We decided to go with Ring Central on the recommendation of our IT guy. It was almost 2 years ago now. We have 25, no, more like 30 employees now. And what's great about Ring Central, first of all, no setup costs, $20 per user per month. And there's features that we really like here. So when a new employee comes in, I just I buy a phone, Polycom phone, plug it in. No configuration needed. It just works. It's really easy to do the phone tree. But then there's stuff that cloud phone systems do that are fantastic. For instance, we have apps on our smartphones. So I can make a call from my smartphone that appears to be from the office. The office pays for it. Incoming calls to my office phone can be routed to any phone of mine, including my cell phone. Voicemail comes in email. Faxes come in email. Yes, it supports faxes. No longer have to have a fax machine. And right now, when you buy one phone, you'll get a second phone free, up to 20 phones from Ring Central. Try it free for 30 days. RingCentral.com. Use our promo code TWiT, T-W-I-T. Or you can call 800-543-9980. They're really nice, and they'll help walk you through what you'd need for Ring Central. 800-543-9980. Don't be afraid. I was afraid. I have feared having to buy a phone system for the office. I thought, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be happy. And Russell, I thank you, Russell Tammany, our IT guy, said, RingCentral.com. Use the offer code TWIT to get that free phone offer and a 30-day free trial. RingCentral.com. Big fan. More importantly, my staff loves it too. The boss loves it because it saves money. The staff loves it because it's convenient. It's easy. It works for them. I do have a Windows 8 device. I do. It would be called the Surface RT. There it is. Do I use the Windows 8 device, you might ask? Not really. Not really. And I'm really kind of now torn about whether I'm going to buy a Windows 8 Pro device. I've never been, no, I shouldn't say never. I haven't used Windows full-time in years. I use it because I want to keep up on it, but I'm not a huge Windows fan. And having said that, I was kind of impressed when I got the RT. I think the Metro interface is really beautiful. And I loved it in Windows Phone, and I'm very impressed by it here. But the reason I told her not to get it, as much as I like this, is because she's pretty much going to be working in desktop only, right? So it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I would get Windows 7. I think Windows 7 still is my vote for the best Windows ever. This is essentially Windows 7 minus the start button. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. It is raining here at the Tech Guy Labs, or actually it was. I think the sun has creeped out. But boy, we've in Northern California, we're just getting some big storms. They call it the Pineapple Express because the storms are coming our way from Hawaii all across the Pacific. And it's nice because it's warm. It's tropical. But it's a lot of water. I think we had a foot of rain in 3 days. Believe it or not. A foot of rain in 3 days. Unbelievable. Lots of flooding. But we're used to that. It never rains, but it pours in Northern California. 8888 Ask Leo. We're talking a little bit about Windows 8. Maybe we should talk more about Windows 8 because, of course, it came out, a month ago. Microsoft's new version of Windows. And Microsoft has made a big change and a big bet. And this I have talked about quite a bit. It is a new user interface, at least for the start page. Once you get to the desktop, it's very similar, although there's no more start button. You have to do these tiles on the start page. Under the hood, though, it's very much like Windows 7. There's some probably more technical improvements and things that have changed. But essentially, it is Windows 7 with a new start screen and touch capability. And most of the new Windows 8 computers take advantage of the touch capability. Microsoft told us that Windows 8 has sold very well, 40 million copies in the first month. Makes it the fastest selling version of Windows ever, which is pretty darn good. They're also starting to tell us a little bit more about their version of Windows 8. Now, remember, Microsoft, for the first time ever, has started manufacturing PCs. Believe it or not, Microsoft never made computers. They only sold operating systems to computer manufacturers. So it was a bit of a shock when Microsoft announced that they were going to make their own computers for Windows 8. They started by shipping, and by the way, and make Windows 8 very affordable too. It's very inexpensive. It's the least expensive version of Windows ever. They started shipping the Windows, the Surface, they call it. It's a tablet with a keyboard cover. It kind of really turns into a laptop, but it's tablet-sized. And the first version was really much more like a tablet because it's based on the ARM microprocessor that's called Windows RT. And very important to make that distinction because it does not run any previous Windows software. It runs only software designed for Windows RT. So it's a fairly limited choice of applications. But they did something smart. They made sure that Microsoft Office was available. So while there are now thousands of applications in the Windows RT store, many of the apps that you might be used to, like, for instance, Quicken, will not run on the tablet. Microsoft is making a version of Windows that will run Quicken. It's called Windows 8 Pro. And yes, they're going to do a Surface Windows 8 Pro. In fact, we're just starting to get the news now about the Windows 8 Pro Surfaces. These will be available in January. We don't know exactly when, but soon. Maybe next month. You can get them from third parties now, but this is the Microsoft version I'm talking about. And the prices will start around $800 or $900. So they'll be they always said this will be about this price of an Ultrabook, $800. Battery life, unfortunately, is going to be about half what the Windows RT tablet gets. It gets about 8 hours. We're talking 3 or 4 hours, which is very much like a laptop. Oh, it's not a surprise. It's going to be like a laptop. I certainly don't recommend against Windows 8. There's no reason to recommend against Windows 8, but I think some people will find it a little cumbersome. They won't quite understand the new user interface. And if what you're doing is running desktop apps, the kinds of apps you're using right now, not the new tiled Metro-style apps, and you don't have a hankering for those, then I would just get a Windows 7 machine. Because that's how you're going to be using it. Windows 8 does have a desktop that's very much like Windows 7 desktop, and if you're going to live in that desktop, then I think just Windows 7 is fine. But if you like the modern, as I do, I think Windows 8 is some very interesting, innovative features. You cannot use the Windows 7 Start menu on Windows 8. You have to use the Windows 8 Start menu. So I would say if you like having a Start menu, stick with Windows 7. And I have a feeling you'll be able to buy that for some time to come. I think that most businesses, many users will stick with Windows 7. And if you're going to buy Windows 8, get it on Windows 8 designed hardware, preferably with a touch screen, because that makes a big difference. That really does make a big difference. It's designed for touch. It's Microsoft's response, frankly, to the iPad and to what many agree is going to be a post-PC world. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. If you want to talk about that or anything else, let's go to Alan in Melbourne, Florida. Alan, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing well as well. I have a Samsung or a Galaxy S3.
Nice phone.
Yes, it is. And as a phone goes, it's been very happy with it. The problem I've encountered is when we try to plug it in the computer via USB cable, it will never, the computer will never recognize it as an external hard drive.
Right. And there's when you plug it in, the Galaxy will say, I'm on USB, and you should pull down the notification menu because you need to put it in disk mode before it can be seen as a disk. Do you know?
On the phone itself.
Yeah, it's on the phone itself. You know about that? Have you seen that setting?
That's one I haven't. I've tried every other.
Yeah, it doesn't by default show up as a disk. By default, it shows up in I think they call it PC mode, where it's like a camera. But if you want to see it as a disk, you can mount it as a USB disk, but you have to tell the phone that. Look in the settings. There's a setting that makes sure that's enabled, and then pull down. They call it media device. El Khalif says they don't call it disk mode. They call it media device. I don't have my S3 here, so I can't tell you exactly what it looks like. But there is a setting in the notifications. You pull it down.
Is that MTP mode?
Try it. I don't know. I wish everybody would just use the same nomenclature. Just say, hey, this is USB mass storage mode. This is a disk. But you need to do that each time you connect. It's not the default. Yeah, they say yes, it's the MTP mode.
Okay, yeah, I have tried that.
Now, if it doesn't mount, you might try a different cable.
I've tried that as well.
And it still doesn't mount.
I've tried different computers, and I always get MTP device failed.
Oh, interesting. So that does sound like now you have something, a problem with the phone, either hardware or software.
Correct. I've looked online, and there's seemingly lots of people with this problem.
You need to have a cable that is not a charge-only cable. You need to be using the cable that came with the phone.
Correct.
Okay, because that has more pins than a charge-only cable.
Okay.
You're using Windows?
Yes. I've tried it on multiple computers.
Well, there's a couple of things you could do. You might try a reset of the phone to get the software back. It sounds like maybe a driver's not loading. And there's an app I'll tell you about right after this. Android file transfers for Mac only. I never had trouble doing that. Let me check. Let me check on my Galaxy Note. Let's get Chris Marquardt on the line here. Oh, ho, ho. G, 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 G. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Ba-da-bum, ba-bum, bum. Do, 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 do. I'm getting him. Got him. Yep. Leo Desk Monitor. Hey, Chris.
Germany to Leo. Can you hear me?
Hello, Germany. Turn on your...
awesome.
There you are.
I'm sending a widescreen today.
Yeah, it looks
Is it
good.
looking good?
Hold on, let me...
640 pixels.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks like you're sitting right next to me. It's kind of scary.
Awesome. Is it?
Yeah.
Which direction? Wait, this way. Whoa.
Yeah.
So we have another myth to bust.
Yay!
The myth that you must have expensive lenses to take good pictures.
Of course you have to. You better not bust that myth. I spent a lot of money on them. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Chris Marquardt, he's my photo guy. Hey, Chris Marquardt. Joins us every week.
Hello, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. Joins us every week, almost every week, to talk about digital photography. And he's become the mythbuster, the photographic mythbuster.
I should get the domain now.
Do you? What is it called? What's the domain?
It's Photographic Mythbuster, but it goes to my own domain. So
good, I like
just to redirect at this point.
I like it. So, Chris, you can find, he does workshops. He has his own podcast on digital photography that's just excellent. In fact, that's how I first found him. Tips from the Top Floor. He has also his workshops and so forth are online. All of that is at Chris Marquardt, MarQuardt.com, or go to TechGuyLabs.com.
It's actually Discover the Top Floor is probably the fastest.
It's
way
easier.
To get to all this
Discover the Top Floor,
and it's easier to remember. You know,
it is. DiscoverTheTopFloor.com. Hello, Chris. So, what's the myth that we're going to bust today?
Well, you see, look at watch advertising, look online in all the forums and stuff, and they'll keep telling you that you must have expensive lenses to take good pictures.
That's not a myth. I've spent thousands of dollars on. You better not bust this myth. You're kidding. I don't need those.
Let me try to burst that bubble. Well, okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being in love with playing with toys and stuff. I mean, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
And I'm the same. I love my new toys. So, but those lenses will give you a technical advantage, but that's just true to a certain extent. So let's see what a lens will influence in your photography. There are pretty much three things that a lens is responsible for. First is sharpness. The detail sharpness in a picture. The second is contrast. And with contrast go colors and distortion. So those three things are kind of, if a really good lens is very sharp, has very good contrast and very little distortion, right? So sharpness, let's look at those three things. Sharpness depends on lens design, pretty much how precise they make those individual parts of the lens, how precise they make the glass bits and how precise they put them together. But here's a little trick to get the sharpness out of a bit of a cheaper lens. If you stop the lens down, if you slightly close that aperture, make that aperture number a bit higher, the sharpness will actually improve quite a bit. And then every lens has its so-called sweet spot. And if you have a DSLR, try setting your aperture to a bit higher. If you have this 1.8 lens and you always shoot at 1.8, it's not very sharp there. So go to f2.5, f2.8, maybe f3, 4, and most lenses actually have their sweet spots around f8, f11, pretty much closed down a bit. So that's the first thing, sharpness. You can actually improve the sharpness of any lens by doing that. And I've seen very cheap lenses compared to very sharp lenses, very expensive lenses that wear pretty much the same sharpness at that sweet spot. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
Contrast. Do your pictures look washed out sometimes?
Yes.
That means they don't have contrast. Contrast means
they just kind of bleh.
Right, and they look washed out. I mean, that's the term. If they look more crisp, that typically means good contrast, and that's often the result of the coating of the lens elements. They have an anti-glare coating, same as your glasses, so that they don't reflect sunlight inside the lens. So the light comes through the different glass elements, and it doesn't bounce around that much. That's the anti-glare coating they put in there. And cheaper lenses don't really have that good a coating because that's expensive to put on. But you can avoid a lot of that glare and increase the contrast of your lens by using what's called a lens hood.
Really?
Lens hood, those are these tulip-shaped things.
Yeah, I always have my lens hood on, but I do that because I didn't want to bang into anything. But you're saying it improves the picture,
too. That's also good
too.
for that. It improves the contrast of a lot of your pictures. You'd be surprised. If you have something bright in front of the lens, that lens hood will increase the contrast on a cheap lens. Give it a try. Try shielding off bright light sources just with your hand, and you'll see that you get more contrast. So that's the second thing. You can do something about that. You don't really have to have the most expensive lenses. And then distortion. When you shoot very wide angles, sometimes you have that barrel distortion where the picture gets like round at the edges, or when you have a telephoto lens, you get the pincushion distortion where it kind of pulls it into the middle. So things look, if you have like bathroom tiles on there, you'll clearly see that on some of the lenses. But you can also do something about that because most software today can fix that in post-processing. You have like a distortion correction built into Lightroom or Aperture or Photoshop. And a lot of these tools can do this. A lot of the modern image editors can do that. And these are all technical things, but the technical image quality, those aspects will typically be nothing compared to image composition and what a story an image manages to tell. So if you take a boring picture that's distortion-free, that has great sharpness, great contrast, it's still going to be a boring picture. So technical quality is one thing, what story you tell, but you can do a lot about the technical quality. So take the lens that you have, try stopping a bit down, try using a lens hood, and if you really have an issue with distortion, fix it in post, and you'll be almost as good as someone with a really, really expensive lens.
So when you're talking, in this case, you're saying instead of buying the L-level lenses from Canon with the red ring around them that are so expensive, buy a lower-level Canon lens? Or would you even say look at a third party, like, say, a Sigma for their lenses?
I mean, those are pretty much all good lenses. Again, on certain price levels, they might be a bit better. They will give you an advantage, a technical advantage, and that might mean that you will get more of the shots that you used to get before. So a 1.2 lens, that level of brightness, you won't
spent
be
a
able
lot of
to
money
get with
to get the red ring L lens f1.2. Yeah,
I know.
Who do you buy? What third party do you like? If you don't buy the lenses from Nikon or Canon for your Nikon or Canon camera,
Sigma's always a good bet, but I would try them out in the store. I'm hesitant recommending to go and buy them online because
You want to take some pictures, take them home, look at the clarity, the acuity, the distortion, the contrast.
2 different copies of the same lens could be different.
Oh, really?
And
wow.
Yes, absolutely. So you have some distribution there between what's good and what's not good. That's true for every lens manufacturer. So I would typically go and buy that lens, the lens that I actually tried out.
Don't buy lenses online, you're saying.
I don't do that usually.
Even like if I'm buying an L, I only buy online because I'm lazy.
Well, L lenses, that's something you get for the price. You get a more
consistent,
tightly within the specs, more consistent kind of quality. With the cheaper lenses, you typically have more variation between the different lenses.
So spend less, get more. And by the way, nobody ever said to Charles Dickens, hey, nice pen you're using. I guess the quality of your writing is really because you're using a good pen, right? It ain't the camera, it's the photographer.
Totally, absolutely. My word, yeah.
How about Tokina, Tamron? These are other third-party lens manufacturers.
I've played with them, and I've actually managed to get the same sharpness out of a Tamron super zoom lens, but only at that sweet spot. I managed to get the same sharpness as out of a big Canon, big expensive
If you're
Canon
at the ends of the zoom spectrum, the widest or the tightest, then you get more distortion and so forth.
Yeah, but if you stay within that sweet spot, you'll have awesome quality out of pretty much any lens.
Good to know. Chris Marquardt, the photo guy. You can find out more at Discover. We'll do this from now on. DiscoverTheTopFloor.com, because nobody can spell Marquardt.
True.
But there is a link also on TechGuyLabs.com. Now, we've got a photo assignment, and we encourage you to participate every month. We give you 4 weeks to participate. We ask you to take a picture illustrating a word, a concept, an idea. And we really give you a leeway because this isn't a competition. We just want you to have an excuse to go take pictures. But we will select 3 pictures at the end of the 4-week period to talk about on the air. And our topic of the month is?
Well, we're helping people save money on their energy bill. It's darkness.
Darkness.
Yes.
All right. Upload those to Flickr, and we'll be taking a look in a few weeks. Thank you, Chris Marquardt, Leo Laporte.
Absolutely.
The Tech Guy. Darkness. Darkness. Thank you.
Absolutely. I shall be back next week.
All right. Yay. Boy, I really saw it when I was traveling.
All right, take care.
The last couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye. Chris Marquardt fading off into the distance, into the landfill, or whatever it is. Now, let me switch this. Oh, thank you, Burke. You're good. He's good. That Burke is good. TEE spring.com, TEESPRING.com/TWiT mugs. What do I see? Oh, we are selling. So the mugs are on sale. These are our TWiT mugs. This is our exclusive. We're doing this again with Teespring. We did it a couple months ago. We did those T-shirts. It's a one-shot deal. They're limited edition. Once the month, I think we'll do it for 30 days. Once the month has gone by, they'll never again be sold. So there's 2 choices. You have a 16-ounce mug or the 9-ounce spoon mug, which Lisa says every girl's going to want. I don't know what she's talking about. Maybe because if you drink tea, I don't know. So the spoon mug, here, I'll link it in the chat room. Let me just, good point. Let me just paste that into the chat room. The spoon mug has a hole in it and a special matching spoon. That's TWiT orange. And that matching spoon goes right there so you never lose the spoon. But unless you have tiny hands, it also blocks the handle. So, and I like a bigger mug. So, I don't know. You have your choice. $20 gets you 2. Mix and match. You can have 2 spoon mugs. You can have 2 16-ounce mugs. You can have one of each, whatever you like. Maybe his and hers. $20. And once we get 100, we'll print them up. And I think we'll do more than 100, but we got to get 100 in the first 7 days, or Teespring is going to say no. Limited edition. And I don't know what we're going to spend this on. I'll have to ask Lisa what it is that we need to buy or want to buy. I could think of a few things. Hobbit tickets. Thank you, Keylogger. Let me go get my Hobbit tickets.
And the Niners and the Rams are tied at 10 each. Fourth quarter, 2:37 left. Oh, no. This is terrible. They were winning last I looked. By they, I mean my team. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Kaepernick scrambling. Look at him. Look at him. He's still going. He's going to get. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's why I like Kaepernick. And that's, frankly, is why Alex Smith is in trouble. That guy just scrambled for 50 yards. Into the... Kaepernick. Oh, but he threw interceptions for the other... Well, see, he's a mixed bag. But he's young. I'm sorry, I got to buy my... Channel 2. Yeah, this is exciting. We're going to get to see Kaepernick's 2-minute drill here. All right. Find a movie. The Hobbit. I want to see it in IMAX. I will not see it in anything less than IMAX. I want to see it in IMAX 48 frames per second. All right. And get show times. Thank you. I don't want 94952. Wait a minute. I'm going to San Francisco to get it. 94103. How about that? Because I want to see it at the Metreon. What? Select a date, the 21st. Oh, now I can get it for the 21st. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
I wanna kiss you every minute, every hour, every day.
Oh, gosh. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. of A. You know, there's a controversy brewing over The Hobbit, which opens, what, the 14th? Everybody's very excited about that. I'm excited about this. The Hobbit's very exciting. But the question is, how do you want to see it? 2D, 3D, IMAX, and there's even theaters showing it, and this is the one I'm most interested in 48 frames per second. 48 frames per second. So what does that mean? Well, you know, normal movies are 24 frames per second. There's a certain filmic quality to it. Television's 30 frames a second. It's 60 fields, but it adds up to 30 frames a second. So 48 frames is a lot of frames. And when you have that many frames per second, you would think it's more realistic. But I've been looking and searching, and there are some people, and we're going to talk about this next week. There's some people who say, with Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guy, that 48 frames per second looks weird. They want to go back. You could see too much detail. It's too crisp. It's too clear. It's too realistic. And some of these people say, no, it's not filmic. It doesn't feel magical in any way. It feels like you see too much detail. You see maybe I don't know because I haven't seen it yet, but maybe you see the Stickum holding Gandalf's beard down. I don't know. We'll see. Very curious. We'll talk about this next week with Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guy. How do you want to see The Hobbit? You'll have some choices. 2D, 3D, IMAX, or all of the above and 48 frames per second. So we were talking to Alan in Melbourne, Florida about connecting his Galaxy S3. Won't connect to his computer. I just looked on my Galaxy Note. I guess maybe the Note's different, the Note 2. And you just select the disk mode and music transfer protocol. Now, if you're on a Mac, you might have to get a program, although it's not always the case, but you might have to get a program called Android File Transfer that makes it possible to see it. So I would check that. But I thought he said it was on a Windows machine. So if it doesn't work, then got to use the cable that came with it, get somebody else's cable, or go back to the store and say, hey, give me a different cable. If it still doesn't work, you could reset the phone. It could just be the drivers didn't load properly or they're corrupted. Resetting the phone maybe will rewrite that. And if finally none of that works, then you might try getting a new phone because it should work. It should work.
Web 9682 is telling us that there is a website, 48fpsmovies.com, that tells you where you can see The Hobbit at 48 frames per second. But the larger question is, do you want to? We'll be talking about that in just a bit. Meanwhile, or I guess next week, actually. Meanwhile, let's go to Kathy in Tustin, California. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here for all of us.
I love it. Thank you for listening and making it possible for me to feed my family. I love it.
I just, the knowledge that you have is amazing.
Well, it's a great job, I got to tell you.
And you're in Northern California?
Yeah, but, the show's on in 180 cities across the country and on XM satellite. And we also have over 100,000 people who listen after the fact on the podcasts. So there's people all over the world listening. But, yes, we're located, the Tech Guy Labs are in a small town north of San Francisco called Petaluma. If you ever want to visit, you're always welcome. We have an open studio.
Cool. Anyways, my problem, well, it's not really a problem, but I have Verizon. I've had it for years and years and years, and I would love to go get that Galaxy Note 2.
Oh, my phone.
And trade in my Droid X,
yes.
Which I absolutely have loved that.
No, but it's time. That's a couple of years old, and yeah.
But they're going to change my plan.
They are?
Well, right now I have the unlimited internet.
Oh, and Verizon says if you get a new phone, we're going to have to discontinue that, huh? That's really because they want to discontinue it anyway. Nobody wants to do unlimited internet because, what happens, for instance, with the Galaxy Note 2 is you can use it as a hotspot. So, and if you have LTE where you are, which I think you do, it's faster probably than your landline internet connection. So their great fear is that you'll suddenly say, oh, I'm just going to use this for all my internet access. That wouldn't be good, would it?
No.
No.
Of course not.
Yeah. So, I think you kind of have to bite the bullet. I don't know of any ways. You're wondering if you get a phone from a different source, perhaps, but it doesn't matter because as soon as you activate it, Verizon say, "Oh, you got a Galaxy Note." Besides, you don't want to. You don't.
That's what I wanted to.
Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons why you can't do that. First of all, if you're on what's called a CDMA network, soon to be an LTE network, but it's the unlocked Galaxy Notes that you can buy from Europe, which is what I bought, the Note 2, are GSM only. They only work on AT&T or T-Mobile. And for those, you can buy an unlocked phone, put the SIM card in from AT&T or T-Mobile, and then it works. But what it doesn't do is LTE. And frankly, if you're on Verizon, you'd be crazy not to do LTE. It's fast. Okay, now, 999 in our chat room has an interesting thought. So does TV Billy. If you don't buy it at a subsidized rate, the $200, or I guess they charge $300, but you bought it from them at the full retail price, they're saying, I don't know if this is true, but they're saying you can keep your unlimited plan.
Really?
Now, that's going to cost you $300 more, but it might be worth it.
Well, yes, it might be.
It's what I would do.
Okay.
So I guess you'll have to either go into the store or call Verizon and say, look, this is what I want to do. I want to buy this unsubsidized. I want to keep my unlimited plan. Is that possible? And they're saying, they're swearing in the chat room. They said, oh, yes, totally. And by the way, don't do what I did. Don't get the white one. Get the black one.
No.
Yeah. Big mistake.
Do they make good covers for them yet?
The one I would get, and Verizon should have it. If it doesn't, they will soon, is not the one I have, which looks like a man purse, because this is a big phone. It's a 5.5-inch phone. Right. They make a very compact cover that replaces the battery cover. So you take the back off the phone, and the cover, the new case, is a new back, and it has a nice leather flip cover. It doesn't make the phone any bigger, and it's gorgeous, and I highly recommend it, and I wish I'd bought it.
So it's leather?
Oh, well, they might have a pleather one if you don't want leather.
No, I like leather.
Okay. Well, some people don't want it, But yes, I believe it's leather, yes.
The right package. Okay, now, can you tell me, besides you, what I should read or be looking at to learn all this stuff?
There are a lot of great Android sites like Fandroid and so forth that have lots of articles and all sorts of information about Android phones. This is your first Android phone?
No. I've had the Droid X.
Oh, that's right. You know what? You'll find this. What you're getting, which is nice, is Jelly Bean, the latest version of Android. So there are some new things. For instance, there's Google Now, which is wonderful. Google, kind of based on your prior history, will tell you things like it knows I care about the 49ers, so it's telling me that they're winning with 1 minute left to play. Yay! It knows that I care about weather in rainy Petaluma, so it's got the weather there. It knows my next appointment. It knows my commute times and where I go. So it will do things like, hey, you're about ready to go home. Just so you know, the traffic's good. You can expect a 30-minute commute. Stuff like that is fantastic. But all of this you'll find just playing around with it. I don't think you need to read a manual if you've been using a Droid X.
Okay.
I think you'll feel fairly comfortable. One thing I would look at is you have many keyboard choices. And while I'm sure Verizon's going to ship a good keyboard with it, perhaps Swipe, which I love, there are other choices. Swift Key and Swipe, SWYPE, are the two I really like.
Okay.
And so looking at alternate keyboards is not a bad idea. You can really, I think, improve the keyboard accuracy with a good keyboard. I love Flipboard. That's an application you're probably not familiar with because it's only recently available for Android. It's a news reader that's just gorgeous. And on this phone, on this big phone, it really sings. It's like having a magazine on your phone. You're going to love it. As long as you don't mind the size.
No. It's not that big.
How many times have I heard that? Thank you, Kathy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I guess she won't be visiting the brick house. Niners! Oh, man, is this exciting. And now the Rams. Did they fumble? No, he kept it. 13-10 with 43 seconds. This is a heart stopper, huh? Slide. If you can get Swipe, Swipe's better than Slide It. Slide It's if you can't get Swipe. And I personally am a fan of Swift Key because its predictions are really good. What? People look at the phone and they often say it's not that big. What are you talking about?
Or download the Epson free iPrint app for iOS and Android. This app is like having your own digital office assistant, letting you print Microsoft Office documents, PDFs, photos, and more. Epson Connect enabled printers also support Apple AirPrint.
3rd and 9.
Print, giving you more options.
Made a couple yards.
Epson Connect works with all new Epson printers. Print from anywhere.
They've only got one play. It's a Hail Mary now.
Don't get stuck at your desk. Change the way you print with Epson.
6, 5, 4. You better hurry up, dudes. 3, 2. Oh, they lost. They let the clock run out. Did they get the timeout? Oh, good. All right. They ran it down to 2 seconds. It's going to be a Hail Mary. Although 3 points. Oh, they're going to go. Oh, their field goal. All right. 53-yard field goal attempt.
Wow. To Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes past.
That's because it's Teespring with 2 E's, Len Paris. T-double-E. Oh. Tried to buy 20 tickets to The Hobbit. No.
You are tuned to Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour.
6:30? When should we go to The Hobbit, Chad? 6:30 or 10:30? It's in San Francisco. Friday. 6:30, right? When should we go to The Hobbit? 6:30 or 10:30? It's in San Francisco. Well, I was going to get tickets for the 21st. I was going to get 20 tickets. Yeah. Will you be around?
I think I will.
Yeah. I'm going to get 20 tickets, and if we don't use them, we'll give them to fans.
Yeah, 6:30.
Yeah. I know 10:30 is too late.
Yeah. It's going to be out at like 1.
Yeah. It's long, right. Apparently, I have a Fandango account.
Who knew? I don't know the password.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes past.
Come on, the clock is ticking, Fandango. Oh, good. All right. 6 minutes. 20 tickets. December 3rd, IMAX 3D. No passes. Yeah. Is 20 enough? The first 20 people. I don't want to order more than 20. I guess I could. I'm afraid of having 3-digit number. Twice they want it. Oh, overtime. Oh, they made it. Oh. Okay, 20 tickets. Friday, 6:30, IMAX 3D. Complete my purchase. All right. Lisa, I hope it's okay. I just bought 20 tickets to Frodo. Print at home. Print ticket.
This is Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes.
I have to do this 20 times?
Premier Radio Networks.
I don't know. Oh, no, it just says 20 adult tickets. One ticket that says 20 tickets. See this group? They're with me. No, Frodo is not. He's born, but he's not. Wait a minute. No, he's not. It's Bilbo. Should I make 20 copies? I got 20 tickets to see Bilbo. I better tell Lisa.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes past.
Oh, she's not paying any attention to anything right now. I can promise you that.
This is Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour from Premier Radio Networks.
$20 might not be enough. Maybe I should buy another 20. $79 mugs gone? Dang. Don't forget, in 1 hour, Jessica Corbin in spandex. And me in spandex. If that should be more intriguing. 40's better. And 40 is more. Maybe I should buy another 20.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7.
Do you think everybody will want to go, though? I don't think the whole staff will want to go. I mean, I hate to say no to anybody. Well, unless it sells out. Yes, you may buy the mugs. TWESPRING.com/TWiT mugs. Teespring.com/TWiT mugs. Oh, there's a flag on the play. I hope the Niners don't have another tie. That would be bad. She said, why 20? It's only us. I thought we could bring some of the staff. I just thought it'd be fun to have a little expedition. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers and the internet, smartphones, smart TVs, digital photography, anything with a chip in it. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. 888-827-5536, that's the number. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., well, just use Skype or VoIP and call that number. And since it's a toll-free number in the U.S., it shouldn't cost you anything to use it with Skype. 8888 Ask Leo. Our website, I should mention this more often, and I don't, I apologize, techguylabs.com. And that's where you're going to want to go because we put all the information I talk about, all the links, everything is in that by show. And then we make video of the show available there via YouTube. So once that's out, we'll actually link up each question to that portion of the video, so you can actually watch the question, watch or listen to the question and the answer, either way. And if you have a comment, I'd really appreciate it if you say, I know sometimes people are sitting there going, "No, Leo, that's not the right answer. I had this problem and I did this and it did that." And if you're doing that, well, you don't need to. Just go right to the techguylabs.com and put that in the comments because I want to get all the information out there. It's free to use, always free, no cost for the podcast, no cost for the website. You could thank our fabulous sponsors for making it available for free. We make enough from them. We don't need to make any money off of you. Laura Beth, Agora Hills, California. You're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Laura Beth.
Hi, Leo. Thank you for talking with me.
My pleasure.
I volunteer with the animal shelter. And one of the things I do is take pictures of the animals to show them on the shelter's website so that people can look at them and say, "Oh, my gosh, that's so cute. I have to have that dog or that cat or that bunny," whatever.
Yes.
And animals, you can't really say, "Go sit next to that waterfall and pose."
Stop, sit, pose. No, that doesn't work.
And I mean, you're stuck with they're in a cage usually, or they're eager to escape, or whatever it is, or they're excited, hoping you're the one who's going to take them home. And so you take a picture and just kind of hope that there's something there you can use, which means that by the time you get home and download your pictures, there's a beautiful picture of an animal off to the left of your picture.
Now you don't look at them as you're taking them on the back of the camera.
I do, but animals move a lot.
No, I'm just saying, after you take the picture, you could just look quickly and see if you got what you thought you got.
Right, but the thing is, sometimes the best picture of an animal will be one that's over at the left of the picture.
And sometimes that's hard to tell on the little LCD on the back of the camera.
Well, or there's just nothing I can do about it because
Right.
the animal is at this distance, my zoom goes this distance.
So but that's easy. If you've got a high enough resolution picture, if you have a good camera, you just crop it down.
Exactly, and that's what my question is. I crop it, but in order to put my picture onto the animal shelter's website, it must be in the dimensions of 640 by 480.
Okay.
And so, all right, I like the top and the bottom to be this width, but I don't know how far apart to make them I don't know where to put the two opposite.
What do you use to crop?
I use a paint. Ifran is the I use Ifran.
Irfanview. Yeah, Irfanview is a great little program.
It doesn't help me set a dimension. I want something where I can draw the two lines, or it'll put a box there that's in the 640 by 480 dimension. I can expand it. I can shrink it, and it stays in that dimension. I can move it around the screen to put it where I want it. Something like that. Does that exist anywhere except in my mind?
It actually exists in Irfanview. Are you using Irfanview?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you want to use is something called Constrain.
Uh-huh.
And there are a couple of choices you have. Okay. So one would be to tell Irfanview before you do the crop, I want a 640 by 480. And it'll give you a square, and you just have to click that picture of the dog and see if it fits. Better yet, I think it's in the I have to look. I think it's in the you shift control will constrain it.
Shift control
will constrain it. I think it's probably in the settings.
Okay.
So I would search around. If not, there are other. Let's see. Let me see. When extended, the paint tool. Well, yeah, there's a way to do it. I think it's Shift Control. But you want to. The word that you're looking for is constrain. The other thing that might even be a better way to do it is what you're really looking for is a certain aspect ratio. 640 by 480 is 4 by 3. So you want a 4 by 3 square. So you can also do that and then resample it, so you'll get 100 pictures. They're all the right, what we call aspect ratio, 4 wide and 3 tall, some multiple thereof. And then what you do is you just resample them all to 640 by 480. So that can also be done en masse via Irfan View.
Except that when it's cropped, it's in a different dimension, and so it comes out like a funhouse.
Right. So So that's called resampling. You need to do resampling, not stretching.
Okay. How do I do this aspect ratio resampling?
You might try a different program. So let's see if the chat room has some recommendations. Certainly one that's free, that's fantastic, is paint.net.
Okay.
What you want to do is set this to 4. Basically, you want to set a crop of constrain the crop to a 4 by 3 aspect ratio, and then as you save these all out, you then want to resample them all to 640 by 480, not by stretching, but by resampling them. Picasa might do this. This is also free. Picasa.
Okay.
And then there is a program that'll do this en masse, according to Uncle Bick in our chat room, called Fast Stone Photo Resizer.
How do you spell that?
FASTSTONE, like a stone that is really quick. Photo Resizer.
Okay.
There are actually a lot of programs that will do this, and that's why I'm pretty much assuming that if you could find the right settings in Irfan View would do it, because Irfan View does everything. I mean, everything. It's the kitchen sink. Another one that's good is Pixelator, PIXLR.com, or Pixeler, I guess that'd be pronounced. That's a mobile app. Do you do this on a phone or a camera?
No, I do it on my desktop.
That won't do that if you're doing it on a... So there are a lot of good choices. Photoscape, Lisa in our chat room says Photoscape will do a batch. This is what you'd like to do, again, is crop 4:3. Each one individually, you'll have to look at the picture and say, I want that part. And then you'll have a bunch of photos that you'll save out into one folder. And then you can run this across the folder and say all of them should be 640 by 480. And I don't want them stretched. I want them resampled.
But it'll give me that box that's 4 by 3, so I can place the box where I want it, and it'll be the right.
Right. You want to constrain the aspect ratio. The problem is looking for the right words. If you don't know the words to look for, it's hard to find.
Yeah, this is all news to me. Okay.
Yeah. Constrain the aspect ratio to 4 by 3, and then resample to 640 by 480. Those are the 2 phrases you want.
Beautiful. Okay.
Because otherwise, stretching, of course, will give you a funhouse effect. Resampling means I don't want to change the look of the picture. I just want to make sure it's 640 dots by 480 dots. Actually, many websites will do that for you automatically. Since yours doesn't, do it for them. That way you'll know exactly what it's going to have on the website.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start searching for...
Aren't you nice to do this, Laura Beth? I bet you're doing this as a volunteer, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's a wonderful thing to do. A couple of extra little tips, if I might. Create a Twitter account for the shelter and an Instagram account for the shelter. And tweet and Instagram these pictures as well. You might get a very much bigger audience. And who can resist a cute little puppy? I'm sorry, I'm very distracted. I'm following a football game. Hey, let's face it, we're all trying to save money these days. We're all trying to find the best value for the buck. And when I think about value, man, the first thing that comes to mind, DSL Extreme, the best value in high-speed internet. Amazing.
10 minutes left in overtime.
95 cents a month.
You're going to save hundreds of dollars.
Yeah,
a
I guess we
year.
sold
With
some
DSL
mugs. We'll keep
Extreme,
doing that.
everything's
We can
just
do
as
more
fast.
than one
There's no
100
dialing
bug
in.
batch, I
There's
guess.
no waiting on downloads. You can surf the net, store your photos, download
They just
music
print them
and
in
video,
batches
get
of
driving
100.
directions and everything. I love DSL Extreme. That's who I use, and at $14.95 a month, that's who you ought to be using. And by the way,
114.
There's no
Good. Keep
setup
buying.
fees. The modem's free. The
You got
spam
7 days
protection's
left.
Free 24/7 support.
I don't know if they meant
you
to
even
do
get
that.
email powered by Google with virtually unlimited.
Does Glenn know that he said it for 7 days, not 30? Wow. Acorn is a very good solution on OS 10. Pixelmator. There's quite a few choices. I happen to like Acorn. Let's see what I got on here. There's a really good one called ImageWell that's I always used. It was very handy for bloggers. ImageWell is really cool. Acorn is kind of simple. ImageWell's design. And Skitch. Skitch. Let's not forget Skitch. That's Acorn. Let's see if I have ImageWell on here. It's IMGVELL. I guess not. I always loved this. Is it gone? Maybe it's gone. I wonder if it's gone. No. There it is. From Extra Lean Software. This is a really, for something like just doing that, really simple. Really, really simple. Oh, look. I can tell you, you should have ImageWell. If you ain't got it, get it, says Leo Laporte. $20. Well, you could try it for free. I used this for years because for blogging, this was the best way to. You do a lot of that resizing photos on blogs. 2nd and 10. The Rams got the ball again. How'd that happen? Oh God, they're within field goal range. Get them. Knock that ball away. Oh, this is bad. It's not sudden death anymore, though, is it? I thought View would do that. Yes, Mike Z, I forgot. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you got in the chat room. Yes. It's probably in my email, isn't it, Mike? Here it is. All right. Can somebody help me with Skype? In 10 minutes, we're going to Skype into somebody. Okay. Can you do it, or could Burke do it, or somebody?
Is it a normal person?
Well, I guess I could do it. You know what? I think I can do it.
Yeah, you can using the screen share.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, let me just try that. Right. It's a normal person. Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry to bother you.
Oh, no. I just didn't know.
No, you're right. I can do it. I forgot.
If it was
I forgot. I have the. No, I have the technology. Yeah, no, I got it. Thanks. Add contact. I'm adding you right now. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. In a few minutes, at 33 1/3 after the hour, we're going to talk to a guy who does the best. I mean, the best Christmas lights displays ever. Mike Ziemkowski. We talked to him last week, and he's gotten even crazier, even madder than ever before. If you go to lightsondisplay.com, his website, you can see ahead of time what he's doing. The technology that goes into these things is amazing. He's in Sherman Oaks, California. If you're in the area, you can tune in, drive by, and put the music on your radio because he has a little radio transmitter and everything. It's amazing. So Michael talked to us about doing truly incredible Christmas displays. It's probably too late if you want to do it for this year in just a bit. That's exciting. This guy really does it up. But first, let's get back to the phones. Starting with Bernie, calling from Colorado. Hi, Bernie. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Whoops, a little noisy.
You have to reset, Leo. I hit it.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me connect. You're right. Go ahead. Yes, Bernie.
Okay. I have a question concerning iPhone apps or iOS apps.
Yes.
I'd like to be able to use my iPod Touch and AirPlay to it from another, let's say, iPhone. Is that possible?
No, you can't AirPlay to a Touch. You can AirPlay from a Touch.
Yeah.
Touch doesn't support incoming, just outgoing.
Let's say another term would be, is there a way to have a remote app, like make your one iPhone a remote to operate the iPod Touch?
So you want to have the iPod Touch doing something, and you want to remote into it.
Yeah, playing Pandora and being able to.
I get it. So you got the Touch docked somewhere, or it's hooked up to speakers, and what you'd like to do is sit back on the couch and control the Touch remotely.
Yes. So it's almost like saying having it be an Apple TV.
Right. Maybe somebody in the chat room does. I do not know of something like that. An Apple TV is a good choice for this, by the way.
Yeah, I have one, but I have multiple locations, so I buy another Apple TV for each location. But I basically use old devices that my daughter gives me.
Yeah.
So
there are certainly docks that have remotes that you then control the iPod through the dock.
Really?
Yeah. I do that with my Sonos, for instance, which I love.
Yeah. But now you're probably talking about something that's $100 or more.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And since you already have the iPod Touch, I understand you want to maybe use another iPod Touch to control it.
Yes.
I don't know of any way to do that.
Okay.
Somebody may know, and I'm gonna let them keep an eye on the chat room and keep an eye on our website, TechGuyLabs.com. We might be able to come up with something for you. But as far as I know, Bernie, Apple doesn't make such an app available. There are docks, though. DZ Sound Nirvana says there's a cheap dock for $27.50. Give me the link, and we'll put that in the show notes. You can't control one iPod from another. You can control from a computer, but I think the music AirPlay, they're talking about Rogue Amiga's Airfoil, but I think the music then comes from the computer. It's an interesting question. You'd think it'd be an easy thing to do. So he's found one on eBay. That makes me a little nervous. Buying it for $27.50 on eBay. You know who are you going to return it to? We'll keep looking for you, Bernie. Sorry I don't have the answer off the top of my head. Duval in Charlotte, North Carolina. You're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. My question is, I have an unlimited plan, what they call truly unlimited. I'm not with any overages. I'm looking to get a new phone, and I'm looking to get it off of either like HSN or QVC or Amazon, someplace like that. And is that permittable to do something like that?
Who's your phone carrier, wireless carrier?
Verizon.
Verizon. So you have a Verizon Unlimited plan. You can buy Verizon phones from other sources, but they have to be labeled Verizon phones. So AmazonWireless.com has a number of Verizon phones. We've talked about this earlier, though. You run the risk of losing that unlimited plan. Verizon would love to get you off that.
Yeah, that's why I want to go outside and buy it instead of...
That won't work because of the way Verizon works, you have to activate it through Verizon, so you can't trick them.
Yeah, I understand all of that. I know if I want to buy a phone, I'm gonna have to either buy it through them straight out or. That's right.
That's the answer that the chat room came up with earlier today. If you buy an unsubsidized, you pay the full price for the phone, Verizon will not then take you off the unlimited plan. But if you want a subsidized phone, or I think this is the case, if you go to a third party and buy the phone, that gives them the opportunity to get you off that unlimited plan. And they really would like to. AT&T does the same thing. They don't want you to be on unlimited because it costs them. They created, in fact, the CEO of AT&T admitted this in a press conference. Says the dumbest thing I ever did was allow unlimited data on iPhones. Because when he allowed it in 2007, when they set that up in 2007, they had no idea how much data smartphone users would use. We use a lot, hundreds of megs a day. Suddenly it became a great cost for them, so they would love to get you off of those. Now, it turns out you can, the chat room has found a good answer for Bernie. Airframe will let you control 2 iOS devices. Airframe, it's from App Dynamic. So that's something to look at. $1.99. It's an app. It enables AirPlay video and photo streaming between iOS devices. In other words, from an iPod to an iPod. Well, I'm sorry, iPod Touch to an iPod because it's an app, right? So you'd have to have an iOS device. It couldn't be an iPod. It'd be iPod Touch, iPad, or an iPhone. So thank you, chat room, once again. To the rescue! Duval in Charlotte, North Carolina. Leo Laporte. Wait a minute, I just talked to Duval. It's all right. Let's go on to Bill in Vista, California. Hi, Bill. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yeah, Leo, this is Bill. Hey, this is even better than talking to an Apple genius.
Well,
hey, I've got my wife and I. We both have iPads. I've got the first generation, and she's got the second generation. And whenever we go on to Facebook, and it goes on for like, I don't know, sometimes 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, and then it goes right back to our homepage.
Get the Facebook app. It's a little more reliable. You're using Facebook on the browser.
Oh.
There's a Facebook app. It's free, and it's more reliable. iPads do tend to drop, for some reason, Wi-Fi signals. Make sure you're updating that iPad with the latest revisions. You want to get to 6.01. And, yeah, use the Facebook app. It's free. It's better. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
We're going to talk holiday lighting. But first, I have to add Mike.
M-I-K-E. Gonna call you in a second, Mike. Let's see if I'm spelling it wrong. Are you going to get something from TWiT Live, line 1, Mike? And we will just call you. You don't have video, do you, Mike? There he is. Hey,
Yeah.
Mike.
Hey, Leo, you see me?
Not yet,
There
but
you are.
I will in a moment. You'll see me.
Okay. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for coming back.
I'll have to turn off the page here. Getting your feedback.
Yeah. Turn off the live.twit.tv and any radio and all of that stuff. You sound great.
Great. Sounds great.
And I got your pictures. That's awesome. Now, I'm still not seeing video, so can you press that
sure.
blue button and see what...
There we go.
There we go. All right.
Should be decent, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a good shot. So are you in the house?
Yep. Back TV room.
So people are driving by right now. Of course, at the daytime, it's probably not as
good. It may rain tonight, actually.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. It's been a rainy weekend here.
So if it rains, do you not do it?
If it's a downpour, I'll shut down. But if it's just like a light mist, I'll keep it running.
Cool. And I have the website,
lightsondisplay.com.
Display.com. I'll pull that up. And I'll pull up the photos here.
Yeah, I thought they were kind of fun.
Yeah, for the geek audience.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Totally geeky there.
Yeah, this is what the TWiT fans want to see. This is
a bunch of Christmas geeks. That's the garage right now. No cars.
No cars. Lots of computers. Lots of fans. Lots of looks like custom built electronics.
Yeah, it's
too.
Pretty raw there.
Well, no, no one has to see the insides.
Yeah, that's what I figure. I don't spend time on
exactly.
layout or anything. That's the what's behind me where the tree is at right now. That's what's behind me before. Sit on the couch with my laptop and program. And
who pays the electric bill? They want to know.
Oh, I do, and it's last year wasn't that great, but we'll see how it is this year. It's more LED this year, so
hundreds, thousands. What do you?
It was like $500 last year for 2 months.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Too bad. Yeah,
it's nothing. We pay $4,000. We pay $4,000 a month in electricity.
Oh my God! Yeah, I talked to somebody that has a pool, and they ran like $1,000 a month, so it's not too bad.
$250.
It's the price you pay
for beauty and fame.
There you go.
You get all the TV crews come out and everything.
So occasionally the local news comes out, and then some of the national cable channels do some coverage sometimes.
It's amazing. Are you kidding? This is fantastic. Everybody should be.
It was Good Morning America's top 3 last year, and which was great. It was a fun time.
So they do a competition, huh?
Yeah, last year they had a competition, and everybody at work got behind it, which was kind of cool.
All right, hang on. We're going to come back in a bit.
Sounds great.
Please welcome your host, DJ Jingles.
Hello, everyone. Glad you could make it. Let's get this show started and light the tree. Help me count it down. 5.
Huh?
2, 1.
Sorry.
Merry
Christmas.
Hey, Leo?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, our whole computer just crashed here.
Oh, all right.
Crazy. Okay, all right. Okay, at least it's still playing in the background. Okay, I'm gonna pot you on here. But we do have okay.
Who's the billboard?
The billboard's Carbonite, and then we also have Nod 32 and Carbonite still to do.
All right, bring up my audio if you will, and bring down yours.
Got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, DJ Jingles.
Hello, everyone. Glad you could make it. Let's get this show started and light the tree. Help me count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Merry Christmas.
What you're listening to is nothing compared to what you're seeing if you're in Sherman Oaks, California. Mike Ziemkowski does this every year. Simply the most amazing Christmas lights display, residential Christmas lights display I've ever seen. And Mike is joining us, as he did last year, on the show to talk a little bit about the technology involved in something, wow, so amazing. Hey, Mike, thanks for coming back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
We're in Sherman Oaks.
I'm south of Ventura Boulevard, up in the hills a litll bit.
People can find it by going to the website.
I have a map on there, Google Map, and shows the location.
And it's lights, what is it?
Lightsondisplay.com.
Lightsondisplay.com. How many lights on display?
I'm guessing I never really added them up, like 50,000 maybe, if you count every point of light, I guess.
And there's sound, too. Now, the last time we talked, I think you had a transmitter, right?
There's a transmitter and also speakers out, stereo sound out.
So if you're not in your car and you're not listening to the radio, you could tune in a radio signal, or you can just... How do the neighbors feel?
They're great. It's actually one time a year I actually get to talk to the neighbors as they come by. We'll walk by as I'm setting up. I pretty much take a whole week of vacation off to set up, and they walk by with the kids and they're all excited about it, so that's great.
Oh, yeah. I bet there's a lot of traffic, though.
No, because I'm up in the hills, so I don't get a lot of traffic, and it's, it ramps up the last few weeks, but LA's slow to kind of get into the Christmas spirit, I guess. So.
This is pretty amazing. So you've got obviously singing, you've got animatronics. I mean, this is worthy of Disney. What is your background? Are you an engineer?
I'm a video editor. I do promo spots, video editing.
And how did you get into this?
It's just a hobby. I've been doing it since I was a kid. My dad started it when I was in grade. Actually, as a baby, so I took over.
But I bet Dad didn't have audio animatronics.
No, back then it was plywood cutouts and gear motors.
So there was movement. That's interesting.
Yeah, there was movement. He started movement years ago,
and lights synchronized to music too, right?
Right.
How
so
did
video and lights.
Video and yes, that's where your video editing comes in handy because you've got a video screen. So there's video in it as well, which is kind of amazing. Yeah. So how is this? How much bigger is this different than last year?
Actually, a couple of years, and it's actually I've added the packages. I built a sleigh last year, which is made out of styrofoam and carved it, and it's coated plastic. It's on top of the house now, and I actually animated it this year. So it has a giant actuator that lifts it up, it can lift 125 pounds. So Rudolph's legs kick, Santa waves now, and it's all controlled by computer. So
let's talk about amazing. It is the Tech Guy show. So let's talk about the computers. What kind of computers do you use?
It's just an old HP system running Windows XP.
That's so funny because really there's so much computing power in a modern computer. You don't
it's
really
all stripped down.
Yeah.
The more DMX, like the tree has these DMX lights on it now, and more DMX control you start adding, you need a heftier computer to drive that. But right now I'm starting. I only have one universe, which is 512 channels of DMX, so it's not too bad.
So the DMX is a way of controlling these lights that connects to what? A serial port, a USB port on the computer?
It's actually all connected by Cat5, so a serial
Ethernet.
port. Right, and it runs into an adapter which feeds out an Ethernet cable. So there's like 3 different Ethernet lines going out there. There's servo lines to the animatronics. There's Ethernet cable to the DMX control, and then there's also Ethernet cable to the controllers, which are a different proprietary system called Lightorama.
Lightorama, okay.
Yeah, that's a big driving program now.
So the program Lightorama is running on the HP.
Right, it's running everything.
And it controls the DMX controllers via Ethernet. How's the video controlled?
Right. The video is also running in the program, the Lightorama control, the program software.
Really?
So it's all inclusive now. So everything, the animatronics, everything are running off that program.
There goes Santa, and the reindeer's kicking. Wow!
It's pretty wild in the house. You hear that thump go, up and down, whatever, and you hear it lifting off. It's kind of interesting.
I take it you're not married, Mike.
No. Just gives me a little extra free time, I guess.
It's a wife or this.
Right. It's been a long summer of building and programming and.
When we talked last year, you said you start this in the summertime.
Yeah, I started a little earlier actually this year. I started at the end of May. Actually, started building, kind of got the jump on things. I actually just made it this year. It was a long, took a lot longer than I thought.
When do you turn it on?
Actually went on the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
So you wait till the Sunday after Thanksgiving, which was December. What was that?
This year was early, so I actually got an extra week of runtime. But usually it's this weekend.
Right. And it'll run through New Year's?
New Year's Day, right, is the last day.
So
it's 5 to 10 each night, and then I run it like Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and the day is also to midnight. Usually.
How long is this show?
It's a 10.5-minute show.
And
it loops all night long.
It just keeps going. So you can get there at any time, and you'll go through
just catch the next show.
It's pretty amazing. People have to go to lightsondisplay.com. You have a great video of it. So if you can't get to Sherman Oaks, you can at least see what it looks like. You do, and I can tell you're a video editor because it's beautiful video. It's best video on YouTube and Vimeo. It's just fantastic, and you have a live Santa and everything.
Yeah, I broke out a new camera this year, a DSLR, so it was a great shooting.
Oh, that's why it looks so good. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. The quality is incredible.
That's beautiful. So, what frequency, if people are driving by, should they tune in on their radio?
It's 107.9 FM.
So you have a little FM transmitter in there.
Yeah, and as long as you're in front of the house, you can pick it up really well.
Wow, truly amazing. Range. Mike, I applaud you. I'll put a couple of pictures on the website of the behind the scenes, the wires, because I know that's what geeks really they want to know. What do the wires look like?
And my Facebook display page has a lot of build photos.
Oh, what's that page?
It's facebook.com/lightsondisplay.
Do you take donations, or do you just foot the bill yourself?
No, I just kind of just put the display up. It's kind of the thing, I guess. And if people are inspired to donate, that's great to a cause, but whatever.
That's fantastic. Mike, I really appreciate you're doing this every year. It's fun to talk to you every year as you just add more and more and more all the time.
Yeah, I think I'm maxing out on space right now. So
this is it. You're going to have to get a new computer, new DMX controllers if you want to go any big. Are you using all 512?
Yeah, pretty much this year I am. Actually, plus there's another. I have a smaller DMX network too that runs the Snow Machine and also the Light Spotlight.
Snow Machine. There's snow.
The kids love that. Yeah, it's up in the tree and it shoots out. It's a lot of kids never saw snow around here, so it's great when it goes off. And
you're great.
Pretty excited about
it. Thank you, Mike. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Leo.
And what you do. Lightsondisplay.com is the website, but you can also, I think maybe Facebook would be even better because you get to see all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Facebook.com/lightsondisplay. Give them a like. At least let them know that people are paying attention. I think he said last year, Good Morning America does a competition, and he came in third. Let's get him in first place because this is pretty amazing. And if you are lucky enough to be in the Sherman Oaks area, go up in the hills and see it. Lightsondisplay.com has the directions and all of that. Thank you, Mike Ziemkowski. That's pretty awesome. You need to get a sponsor, Mike. Get somebody to sponsor the thing.
Yeah, they worry about music rights. Then I don't know how that works out.
Well, that's true too, right? Yeah,
that kind of changes things up. Then
yeah, you're not supposed to make any money on this. It's a crazy world we live in, and
especially being in LA too, that'd be a problem, I guess.
You know what the heck?
I know.
So you're using a lot of commercial music. I see Run Rudolph Run, and so there's all commercial music.
Yeah, and I have a problem on YouTube. I have to use Vimeo because YouTube I blend all my songs together. Oh. So YouTube usually you can post one song, one display song, and they tag it. But if I
too many, they just pull it down.
They just pull it down totally.
That's
so
frustrating.
I just can't get the hits. And it's kind of funny because you think it's a promotional thing, but it just doesn't.
No, they're just not that bright. To be honest,
I mean,
you work in LA.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of this crazy business, I guess.
Chat room is very sharp. They say, "Hey, is that an Emmy over your shoulder there?"
Yeah.
What was that
last
for?
Year.
Last year. Congratulations.
Thank you. I did the promotional campaign for Ellen last year, and then as well the launch campaign for 2010, I guess it was at the time.
You got one of those nice big Emmys.
Yeah, it was great. I was waiting to see what it would be like when I ordered it, and
that's awesome. Congratulations. That was a nice. That's really, really, really great. You're actually the History Channel has a piece on you too. I see.
Yeah, they shot that back in 2006. Modern Marvels.
Oh, good.
Christmas tech.
So you can compare 2006 with today.
It's come a long way in 6 years. It was amazing. And then it was kind of cool. The producer stopped by opening night, who produced it. Her name's Beata, and she stopped by and came out to see the display with her daughter and her husband. It was kind of cool.
It's really neat.
Many years later.
This has become your thing.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's kind of like I work on with video all the time, whatever, and it's kind of actually able to go out in the garage and build things. It's kind of cool.
I think that's why the maker movement's taken off, and I think that's why there's so many hams too, because it's analog electronics is so different than digital, and it's just cool. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun.
And have a bunch of scrap metal and parts, and actually end up to be something kind of cool and big. And
that's awesome. Well, Mike, I'm so glad you emailed me again, and I'm glad you reminded me in the chat room because I got a terrible memory.
I didn't want to bug you in the chat room.
No, it's good you did because I really wanted to get this on.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you remembered or not.
I did. I did and I didn't. I forgot. So
the game was
the game kind of, and we lost, by the way, and I'm upset, but that's all right. Your Rams beat us. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Leo.
Take care, Mike. Bye-bye. Great stuff. I love it. Lights on Display is the Facebook page, too, if you want to like him. Superman says, you know what you really need? An erupting volcano. This isn't Vegas. Oh, it's the St. Louis Rams now. That's right. It's not L.A., is it? I forgot. They moved. They moved from St. Louis to St. Louis. They're your Rams, Capon, not my Rams, not his Rams. They used to be his Rams. The tie would have been hysterical. At least it would have gotten rid of the half point in their record. There's no football, no NFL in L.A. anymore, huh? Well, that's a shame. They moved in 95. Well, you could tell. I'm really paying close attention. That wasn't that long ago, It's only 17 years. They've always been the L.A. Rams to me. TWiT today is a fabulous show. Dvorak, I think Jolie Odell, and Mike Elgin, I think. But I haven't talked to Chad yet. They don't say St. Louis? Those lights. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Last few minutes of the show this week. Don't forget, though, all week long, lots more tech talk on our TWiT network. We do podcasts on all phases of technology. We have Windows, Mac, iPhone, iPad, Android phone, technology news, security, and more. It's all TWiT is the name of the network, TWiT. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it. You can Google TWiT, and you'll go right to it, or just go to twit.tv. That's the website. And lots of stuff. Scott Wilkinson does his Home Theater Geeks podcast there. We have a Ham podcast, Ham Nation. Just lots of great tech content all week long. Our website for the radio show, techguylabs.com, is also up 24/7. Always a good place to go to search for information. And everything I talk about on the show, techguylabs.com. Let's go to Longview, Texas. Phil is on the line. Hi, Phil.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you? Well, I know you're not doing too well because I just read the screener's notes. Your wife's phone fell in the water?
Yeah, she had an HTC Android phone, and we went fishing, and she took some pictures. And the next morning, it was kind of cold, so she put it in the breast pocket of her coat, and she leant down to untie the boat, and it flipped out into the water. And so we were able to recover the SIM card and the SD card and dry them off. But the pictures that she took, is there any way that we can recover those out of the phone's memory?
So you were able to recover the SD card contents?
Yes.
Good. So what it depends on what the damage was. When did you get it? You got it back, obviously.
We got it back, but the phone's fried.
Yeah, and the first thing to do whenever you get water on a phone or a device is to pop the battery out, because you don't want power is your enemy right here,
right.
Because the water will short stuff. So if you pop the battery right away, that's good.
And then we packed it in rice, and she didn't realize that we needed to let it dry out for about a week or so.
Yeah.
And so in about 24 hours, she put the battery in.
Okay.
She said, well, the phone started to work, and then it quit. So I said, well, you probably just fried it.
Yeah, which I've done. Don't blame her now. I've done that too. It's hard to wait a whole week. But yeah, there was probably still moisture in there, and of course, as soon as now it may have also fried earlier. It could fly right away. It's the luck of the draw. But what we don't know is what fried. It may just be the screen. You can't tell until. Now, what I did with my iPhone when this happened is I brought it into not Apple, but a third party who took the whole darn thing apart and replaced one by one each component to see if it would get it working. And in fact, what we found out is the motherboard, the logic board, was fried, and so, of course, there was no getting that data back. And if that's the case in your phone, same thing. But it may merely mean that the screen got messed up, and so that's why you can't see anything, but in fact, the phone is okay. The problem is you got to find somebody, and it's a little different with Android phones. iPhones are so prevalent, but you got to find somebody who can take it apart and play with it, because you just can't yourself do this. So I would look in the phone book for a phone repair expert. Often the guys who do the iPhones will also do other well-known Android phones. What they'll do, and they may even be able to get it working without spare parts, what they'll do is disassemble it, dry it. What may also happen is sometimes the contacts get corroded. They may just clean the contacts, and that may get it working again. So they may be able to get it working again. It's just unknown depending on what the damage is. Mine was so bad the SIM was fried. If you took the SIM card out, you'll see scorch marks. It short-circuited too. Everything short-circuited. So it's not known. It's good she pulled the battery right away, but remember, right away is still 30 seconds or more, right? So that's plenty of time for a short circuit in every component. I think that it's good you got the SD card back. That means there's some stuff on there.
Right, and the SIM card works because we've got that in a non-smartphone right now.
That's fantastic. So that means there's hope. It means that maybe it's just one little thing's wrong, and if you could get that cleaned up and dried out, it might be all right. Look for an independent phone repair guy who is pretty smart.
Great. Thank you so much.
Sure, Phil. Yeah, all is not lost, but it's just unknown. You can't tell what the damage is. I guess, that's kind of maybe we talked at the beginning of the show about how Facebook now, on its app, if you have its app installed on an Android or an iPhone, will automatically copy any pictures you take to Facebook, not public, privately, and you could then make them public. We were talking about that at the beginning of the show. There's iPhones do it to the photo stream if you turn it on, and Google Plus will do it on iPhones or Android phones if you turn it on. They'll automatically upload every picture as you're taking it. So that's another good idea to preserve your photos on your phone. Phones get lost, broken. They fall in water more than you'd care to admit. Tom in Temple City, California. You say your emails aren't forwarding.
Yeah. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
When I used to have XP, no problem. But since 2 years ago, I got this Windows 7, and I've never been able to forward an email. Now, if I originate one, they get that. Or if I add anything to, as like a comment to the email that I'm forwarding, they'll get that. But they won't get anything but blank other than that.
Yeah, this is not at all uncommon. I've had this call many times. So what you're saying is the text and the images are blank. They get an email from you, but nothing in it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Unless I originate it myself.
Right. And this is, I believe, as a result of a change in Windows for security purposes. So it depends how the email is sent to you. If the email is sent with attached pictures that you're viewing inline, sometimes when you forward it, you won't see those. But I think there is a setting. What email package are you using? That would help.
I'm using DSL Extreme.
And Outlook or Yahoo or?
It's Internet Explorer.
Yeah, you're using the browser, so you're using DSL Extreme's email, which I think is Gmail actually. So this happens with a lot of different email programs. I'm just going to look and see if I can find the settings for forwarding inline images in Gmail. So oh yeah, I remember this now. You have to have rich formatting available. Now, it's not available in the basic HTML view, so you have to be using the modern Gmail view. The next time, here's actually a simple way to do it. Click compose an email, and then select rich formatting. It's above the blank text field of the message. If you don't see that, then that's not the problem. But if you do, turn that on, and now you will send out rich text emails that will have the embedded content in it. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the TWiT Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.